Hello and welcome to the Gauntlet, a member of the Gauntlet here. All of the folks here, I'm speaking in backwards sentences, I don't know. The Gauntlet is a tabletop role-playing and live-action RPG community that is worldwide, and we often play online. This is not only just Gauntlet, but it's also Gauntlet Comics, which is an imprint of a pretend comic book line that Lowell Francis and Jim Crocker and I are currently GMing kind of interconnected stories. And the Gauntlet is primarily focused around independent or small press RPGs as well as the OSR. And we like games that you often can't find at your regular gaming store. I'm sorry, but there's the online, there's the interwebs. You will find it. You can ask us. Like, comment on this YouTube video if you wish. And I'm actually this month running 1%er Supers. 1%er, the game that this is a hack of, is this fabulous game about outlaw bikers, like motorcycle bikers, written by Robert Nolan of Creepy Doll Studios. And I've taken it and tweaked it quite a bit to try to come up with a game kind of inspired by street level superheroes, vigilantes, akin to the Marvel Netflix series of like Deadpool and Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, and others, and Defenders, and what have you. So we are in our second session of 1%er Supers. Did I say Daredevil or Deadpool? Please tell me I said Daredevil, because I don't want to put the onus of trying to be like Deadpool on anyone, because that takes many writers and a person wearing a mask so that you can voice over new jokes all the time, which I don't want to require of anyone, nor could I create mechanics to emulate that. 1%er Supers is a street level game, meaning that nobody can fly. You guys have a neighborhood that we collaboratively create. That neighborhood is within New Gauntlet City, which is the setting base for Gauntlet Comics. In the first session or first issue of 1%er Supers last week, we created characters, created the neighborhood, talked a bit about their relationships to each other. And then we had a brief bit of action at the end, which was quite thrilling and devastating for at least one character. So let's reintroduce ourselves. And we'll say that, like, on the front, 1%er Supers is the cover of our comic. We've got a picture of all four of you guys. And we have a picture of Styrofoam, who's like laying on the ground. And his right arm is like it's like off the cover, so you can't tell that it's whether it's there or it's not. And in his hand, he's holding something that's like glowing really, really brightly and illuminates all four of the faces of each of you on the cover. So we turn the first page. On the inside cover, we have a little headshot of each of your characters, and that is where we read a little blurb. And you will provide me with that blurb by introducing your character. Tim, please tell us a little bit about your character. Nice punchy bit of intro about your character.
My character is Riot Act. Real name's Jake Davis. He works in a junk shop. He repairs just appliances or whatever people need fixed. He's built himself a kind of a semi-powered armor. Not quite like Iron Man, but more of like a Night Thrasher type, I guess, if anybody's familiar with that character. He's got kind of gadgets built into it, almost kind of like Guardian on Supergirl, with maybe a little bit more high tech, but not as quiet. I think that's all I got right now.
Cool. Thank you, Tim. Luis, when we spin over, we see your character, and what's a blurb on her?
Okay, links, all caps, parentheses, Alice. I'm going to use the Portuguese one. Alice Lago was uninvested graphic designer until she acquired cat powers from tapping into the collective consciousness of cats, which apparently is a thing, after her parents died in a mysterious accident. So now she tries to do good because they were good people. Emphasis on the tries.
Nice. Nice. And then we spin around to the bottom left where we see a certain guy that Chris will tell us about. What's the blurb on your character?
I think you see the logo for the name, wild card. Every letter is in an entirely different and drastically odd-sized font. And underneath, real name, Jamie Callis, slacker sorcerer, part-time copywriter. Really pissed about that coffee.
That's true. You lost your coffee just to get all the coffee. It's not fair. And then last but not least, also on the bottom corner there opposite you is Sherry's character. Sherry, tell us about.
That's Static. Her real name is Deidre Cruz, who works as a waitress at the Lebanese Cafe Cyprus. She is also the ex of the Yes Man, and she's super good at, let's see, she can like read machines, and she can turn herself into electrical current and travel along electrical wires that way. So nothing big, just, keeping it real.
Exactly. Keeping it real. I like it. So we it's the last issue. It's like previously on, previous issue. You guys were at the Lebanese restaurant known as Cyprus, and there was an arrival of the Future Legion. They got a notification that you guys didn't spoof on their like Hero Up app, as it were, ran off. You guys followed them because Lynx had seen through a cat that the Styroform, a friend of hers, who was also a little bit on the Robin Hood side, but a little less on the give to the poor, but definitely enjoys stealing from the rich, that he was about to go into a storage unit called Stow It, and Future Legion members Coldheart and Yes Man went there. There was a big fight. Styroform took a serious beatdown, as the radio has told us, and his right arm started off with the hand, but after first the hand shattered, and then they beat him some more, which was all captured on video by Lynx. And then you guys came on the scene, used a little bit of magic, a little bit of static, and were able to stun the two members of the Future Legion and take off with Styroform. And so we will pick up, maybe he's just Hood, I don't know. So we're gonna pick up with you guys carrying Styroform away, because I'm curious, like, what do you want to do with him? He is going into shock, it appears. I'm not sure Riot Act probably has enough on his power suit to be able to read a bit of that. But yeah, so Asclepius Hospital is the major hospital. It's like the biggest hospital in New Gauntlet City. It also is set up. There is an entire superhuman ward, superpower beings ward for Asclepius Hospital. However, turning him in means he's 100%. Unless the Future Legion doesn't file a police report, he'll definitely be going to jail. He is currently appears sweating, like he's drawn as if he's sweating. He has beads of sweat along his forehead, but when you touch it, it's like this weird styrofoamy film. It comes off of him because his powers, he is a mutant of some kind. So 4 of you together got him. You're on the streets of Scoville Terrace. What do you want to do?
Did we? I'm trying to remember. Did we grab what was left of his hand?
You absolutely did. Static
Okay.
used her static electricity powers to kind of zip in, snatch that up, and that was part of your exunt from the combat sequence.
I think as soon as we get far enough, Wildcard says, "Hey, let's stop here in this alley. Let's see if we can do something for him because he does not look like he's going to make it very far."
Okay. And I've got all those pieces, so she's like looking at Wildcard for any kind of guidance he can give her.
Okay. Wildcard kind of looks at where that hand's supposed to be, and he says, "Get whatever we could get of that hand, and sort of put it here where it should be." And
there's like a moment of you guys like jigsaw puzzling together the pieces as best you can.
Wildcard, reaches through his pockets. He starts rooting around. And he pulls out what looks like a little tube of Elmer's glue. But it's not real Elmer's glue. It's like some discount ripoff brand from the Dollar Tree or something. Because he can't afford Elmer's glue. That's too expensive. He unscrews the top and he puts his palm over that, shakes it up, and pours that over all of the pieces of the hand that we've sort of piled up there where they're supposed to be roughly. And then he takes out a handful of, he takes his coffee cup because it's styrofoam, and he crumbles it up into dust in his palm. And again, he looks a little sad about having to do this, but yeah. And then he leans down and blows the styrofoam dust onto that mix of styrofoam's hand particle stuff and the Elmer's glue, and he whispers a few words that sound like they should mean something, but you're not really sure that they do. And he's going to try to magic his hand back on.
That sounds amazing. So here is how I see this roll work. I'm going to give you effectively 2 different difficulties because there's a thing you can do, and then a full success, as it were. First of all, tension is not in effect right now because it's not like this is going to hurt you. I mean, magic does have backlash, but for this particular point, you're trying to put good in the world, so it is magic hates you less. With a remarkable success, which is 3 successes, you will be able to stabilize him. With an amazing success, it will take an amazing feat of magic to reattach that hand to where it will be fully operational.
And amazing to be okay.
I was going to move to numbers. Sorry.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure what I was looking at so I could calculate how much spark I needed to be ready to risk on this.
Exactly. And just as a cheat sheet thing, on row 30 of the team areas where I stuck the difficulties, if you ever need to reference that.
Okay. I gotta see them down there now. Thank you.
And then can I assist? I've got my static to hold everything in place. So
if you want to share your spark, I thought of that earlier today, and I'm going to put it in the text of the book. If you want to share your spark, that's like helping, because this sounds hilarious.
Okay. So I will spend 3 to help him.
Okay. And let me see how this is going to stack up. Obviously, this is a super roll, so that's a base of 3. I'm thinking this is probably a head thing, or maybe actually a tools thing. Because I'm using my little...
Yeah, because you're using your Elmira's glue.
So so that'll be a 5 total out of that. I'm using my magic, so that'll be a 2 from magic, correct?
Right.
Okay. So that will be, let's see, 3, 5, 2 more, that's 7, 3 from static, so that makes a 10, and I will put, let's see how many spark I've got left, because I used some last time. I'll put 4 spark into this one.
Wow, this means a lot. This is exciting. How many total dice is that up to then?
That'll be let's see. I got 3 from her, so that made it a 10. And with 5 from me, or with 4 from me, that'll be 14.
Okay, you've got a pretty good chance of success. Boy, oh boy, aren't you thankful that I didn't say tensions in effect, because that could shellac you.
I am very, very thankful. Okay, so could we delete some of the old dice off of here so I can put them together so I can read them?
Is everybody okay if we just go ahead and clear dice? Is that okay? Go ahead and clear. Do you know how to clear dice?
Just click the clear button, right?
Yep. And I'll ask yes, and then everything will.
There we go. Okay. Ooh, that looks good, I think.
Okay, let's count up your evens.
Let's see. We've got 2, 2. I got 2 2s, 3 4s, and 2 6s. So I think that gets me above the 5 required.
Yes, it does. That is pretty amazing. Wow. I was like, he's not going to succeed. That'll be fine. I love it.
But I think that looks obviously draining. Like the coffee magic, that wasn't too bad. That didn't look like it really took a lot out of him. But this looks like it. I think this looks like it took a lot out of him.
Cool. So in the comic, what's the color of your magic? Right? Like, what's the color we often will see in the area around you, in the air around you?
I think the color varies. I think it's almost like a chromatic or like a rainbow effect, because like wild card, just like his wardrobe tends to vary in color and outrageousness. I think the magic, like the field that's generated whenever he does something really big magical, it has this sort of like rainbow cascade effect.
Nice. I love that. That is delightful and very colorful. Whew, man, our printer's very upset because we sent so many colors. Love it. Sweet. So while you guys are, I guess, Static is definitely watching because she's giving some of her spark. Riot Act, since you're usually the adult in the room, since you own a job, have a business here in the neighborhood and care, I'm imagining you maybe keeping an eye on things. You check in that hero app. There's a signal that goes out to the other members of the Future Legion. They're reporting what's going on here. They've dropped a pin into the map in Scoville Terrace on the app, pinpointing that Styrofoam was seen here and that there was an attack by the Scourge. And then you also see there is a message back from a couple other members from the Future Legion. Coppertop and Garrison will say they're on their way, and Yes Man is trying to coordinate their activities. Then we see the rainbow magic. Everyone's eyes are drawn to the crazy wildcard rainbow magic, and all of the pieces that were Styrofoam's hand all formed together. And I think that hand now has like this odd multicolored luminescence to it. And he finally opens his eyes up and he reaches up with his left hand. He wipes his brow from all the beads of slimy, styrofoamy sweat. I'm not dead. Awesome.
Yeah, could you really not put yourself in that kind of situation again? Because I don't know how often I can pull that kind of shit off, man.
He looks, and there are like these little rainbow sparkles that come off of his fingertips. What did you do?
I stuck your hand back on and added cool chromatic effects, so you're welcome.
Yeah, seriously. Allie. He reaches into his chest, and you see his hands like slurp into and then he goes he pulls it out and he goes, "Hey, Lynx." He flicks this to you. I will show you a picture of what he has flung to you. Hold on a sec. Sorry. I had it queued up, but sometimes my screen sharing is slow. There you go. Looks just like that. It is about half the size, half the size of a lemon, and there is absolutely kind of fissure here, although this is a stone. It does not look, it looks like it has always been a stone, not like someone fused two different stones together. And I will stick that into the picks and places there in just a minute, but I wanted you to see the bigger version of it. He says, I got that for you in there, and stow it. I didn't get anything for you, Wildcard. Sorry, man.
I think she's turning it in her fingers, like using the metal claws to turn it around. And she's like, okay, so you just keep things on your chest. I mean...
He starts to stand up and he goes, look at the costume. There are no pockets.
That is a design decision, and it's your fault. You should have pockets. All the rest of us have pockets.
Guys,
Yeah.
This dude over here, and he points to Riot Act. This dude is all pockets.
hey, Future Legion is on its way. Like, the only way we're going to get out of this right now is if we disperse. I mean, like, go normal.
Yeah, they've called in some more troops.
Ooh. I hate going normie, though. Ugh.
I can't. I'll GTFO, bros. Hey, listen. That's a magic stone. It's a cat's eye. And it made me think of you. We'll talk about it later. I got. If you guys got to go, we got. You hear boom, boom, boom. And the asphalt starts to shake a little bit from someone running. And you obviously would know that would be Garrison.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I hate to cut you loose, but yeah, we got to do this. I don't want to get caught tonight.
Cool. Laters. And he
Try to be
swoops down.
safe.
He's like, and he's down on the ground on the pavement, like skittering away.
Okay.
So, where do you guys want to go hide out? You're right near Professor Coffee.
Perfect.
Let's do it.
Because I think we all owe Wildcard another coffee.
Yeah, but
I was thinking that as well.
Cool. So we cut into Professor Coffee, which it's open a little bit on the late side. I'm imagining. Well, I don't know. What do you guys think? Is Professor Coffee one of those coffee places that basically stays open during the day and closes kind of early at night, or is it one of those all later night kind of coffee shops? Because I know we have the all night diner, the Hole, but this isn't the Hole. This is Professor Coffee.
I think Professor Coffee has a late night like coffee machine, like a vending machine. That, like we have to get all of our quarters together, but it's really good coffee, and it does like this little like it's like robotic. So there's like a little Mr. Coffee robot inside that does the whole thing.
Oh, so Riot Act. As you guys come in there, you're noticing that the Mr. Coffee, it's not working as well as it could. And Kirby Jackson is there. He's reading a newspaper. He's got the Chronicle up, the Gauntlet Chronicle, New Gauntlet Chronicle, and he's kind of reading through. There's a few college kids that are here from the nearby. Hold on a second. They would be from most likely like Zola Village and College Hill. They skirt south to go to Scoville Terrace to go to Professor Coffee's. And I don't know. Yeah, there's probably a few other people. And Claudia Cross you guys see her come out of the restroom and she heads to one of the back rooms of Professor Coffee. It looks like she's meeting with some people.
So many opportunities.
I know.
I'm assuming we're all out of costume now and in our regular street clothes.
Yes, that is a great question, and you guys are all in street clothes. Thank you for making that clear. I should have painted that into or framed that in.
See, and now we're all trying to see who actually has quarters.
Exactly. We're all going through our pockets.
But the coffee machine's not quite.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
making a noise. You've never heard it make this noise before. It's like a grinding, like something's missing.
So I guess I look over to Mr. Kirby. That's the owner, right? Yeah.
Kirby Jackson's the
Yeah.
owner. Yep.
Does he know me? My shop's close by, I guess. But I was like, asking, you mind if I take a look? It doesn't sound right.
Oh man,
If I fix stuff
a little
for him.
light this month, man. I mean, if you can float me for the fix, sure.
Okay, I don't mind on that. So, do I need to roll for something or?
Yeah, let's say that fixing this is pretty typical for you. So
All right.
we'll need 2 pals, and tension is not in effect.
So that's probably normal and either head or tools.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have tools with me, but
If you don't have tools with you, then you can use your head.
all right. That only leaves me like 4 dice. Let's see if I find the number. And that would be 2
all you
pals.
That's
No
all you
oofs. All right.
Sweet. So you have to take a panel off on the side and work on it for just a wee bit, but you're able to tweak that sucker and get her working again. You said there was like a little robot on the inside of it. Is that what was described in this? Yeah. So the little robot, you gotta. What does the have to do to the small robot inside this dispenser? Which I just adore. This is very modern Flintstones kind of deal.
Mhm.
It's a little robot. It's like made to look like a regular coffee machine.
Are you saying robot? I was sitting there thinking, is there like a little display window where the little robot walks out and puts on a show or something?
Exactly.
Like it's, I say there's probably a little something that's kind of caught on the track. It just needs a little grease to smooth up the movement. And there's a little extra in there. You can just kind of spread it around.
Cool. Yeah. So you realign the little robot on his track, and then he doesn't say it's a living, but we can imagine it. What kind of music is playing in the background, Static?
I would see like a late night. It's probably something that's not too like loud and thumping. It's probably something that's relatively low key. Maybe some like low key acoustic stuff.
I like Elevator Daft Punk. Way to go.
It sounds kind of acoustic when it's been elevated.
Nice. You got a little bit of Elevator Daft Punk playing, and there's one of the college guys got a little beanie style deal. He's just tapping away on his laptop, and they laugh when the music comes on. And yeah, so Claudia Cross evidently meeting with some people on the back. You got Kirby Jackson here. You have this cat's eye stone that's been handed off to you by Styroform. Riot Act, as you're checking the Future Legions, kind of canvassing the place. They haven't called the cops about this yet. And Lynx, you've got some video. Have you released that yet?
Yeah. I'm thinking on how I'm going to do this without compromising my identity, because data leaves a trail. So I guess I'll call Tim on this. I think after we sit down, I have this jewel in my hand, and I really want to inspect it, but I remember that I have the recording, and it's important because if they go full on like snitch on us, we got to have our backs covered. So I just call Tim's attention after he's done fixing the bot, and I'm just, hey, so I have some very incriminating evidence right here. Can you use your big brain to try to make it into the internet in a way that doesn't make the Future Legion knock at my door and try to arrest me for being a villain?
I suppose we could make it look like it came from the storage security cameras. Possibly the static have like powers that help with that as well, or machine interface. So I think we could probably work something together to put that through on some official channels, or even replace the actual security or overlaid on security footage from the actual security cameras at the unit.
Yeah, sounds cool. As long as you don't find my
That way- I
You
mean,
guys
that
just lay it
way-
out and Sleek to say, "Yep, that sounds cool. Do that thing that you do." Expert at thing. So, just as a notification to Static, you are incredibly low on Spark. This
Yep.
is an excellent opportunity for you to pursue a refresh. So there are 3 ways to get Spark back. The first way is to hunt down, do legit vigilante work where you say, hey, I want to go out and clean up the streets and do a little bit of street vigilantism. We'll describe a quick scene of you maybe having upon a robber, or there could be a mugger, something along those lines. It's not another supervillain. You would roll plus heart, make a roll with heart, and if you're successful, super plus heart. If you're successful, all of those pals, it's not intention, all of those pals would gain you Spark. The second way is to do some charity work, and you just describe what is something that you're doing to benefit the neighborhood. You would roll their mundane plus heart, and your pals would give you back Spark. And then the third method is team bonding, which is a really easy opportunity here. And it's where, similar to the Lady Blackbird game where I totally stole it from, we learn a bit about each of your characters, what they care about, their relationships to each other. It's kind of an emotional check-in. It's one of those moments where we see you in a downtime and someone building you back up, and then both characters that are involved will gain Spark back. So just want to throw that out there before you guys dip into a roll, because you spend any Spark right now and things will not go well for you, because you'll be out of the game.
Okay. I'm all for some team bonding then. I think wild card's a little low. So let's see here. We've got coffee. We're helping. Well, I figure we're all standing around our friend while he's repairing the robot, making suggestions, and being completely useless, but having a pretty good time, and essentially digging around through our pockets for quarters. So we're coming up with a stack of quarters, because who uses quarters anymore, right? Everyone has a debit card.
And I can see Wildcard's like emptying his pockets, and he's throwing stuff down, and he'll put like a handful of really weird looking coins down, and then he'll like look back and go, oh shit, no, we don't want to put those in anything. That would be really bad. And like tucks those back into that pocket. And actually, he takes them out of that pocket and go, wait, those need to go in this pocket. And
You got a pocket system?
when you're a magician who uses materials, you better damn sure have a pocket system. Not all of us have that magic bag that Shaman from Marvel Comics has, where you can just reach in and imagine what you need and pull it out. Most of us just have to have shit in pockets.
I kind of pictured like Doctor Who. Sometimes he just pulls the oddest stuff out of his coat pockets when he needs.
It's that only only for Wildcard he has to actually plan for that. That's like he'll have like a little tube of this or a squirt bottle of that, and it'll all be like little tiny bits of stuff. And he'll have to go back to his apartment eventually and replenish it all.
Well, one of the things is Static, or Deidre, of course, she probably still has her waitress apron on. Like, hasn't thought about it. So she's like, well, check this out. And she'll show you like all the pockets that are built into that. And she's like,
wow, did you do these yourself? How did you? There's not that much surface area.
She goes, that's how all the waitress out. That's how all the aprons are at Cypress. So I don't know why, but I've always made good use of it. Want me to see if I could get you one?
Yes, I could sew that inside my jacket and not have even more pockets. I'd have to make sure I could reach them all. That might be the tricky part. Because I don't want to have to take the jacket off to get to all the pockets. I've been through that before. That didn't work out.
So essentially we're doing a pocket engineering discussion here.
I love it.
So,
Let's say that gets each of you back. Say it gives you 4 spark each. There we go.
Okay.
The range for this normally is between 3 to 6. So I liked it. It's good. So now you are going to try to work together, Riot Act and Static, to hide your identity but publicly post this video showing Yes Man and Cold Heart beating Styrofoam severely. Although, there is a thing where Styrofoam's hand in the video is destroyed, but you guys know that you fixed it. So just to keep that in mind, that is a thing that is out there.
Yes, but his new hand is noticeably different.
That is an absolute truth statement there. All right. I'm going to say that because these guys, if you remember, what they have that you don't is a lot of technology. And so it's going to be extremely difficult. I'm going to say it's going to be incredibly difficult to pull this off without getting caught. And it's pretty stressful because you know what you're up against. So I'm going to say tension is in effect.
okay.
If they need it, I can throw in a couple of spark to help out. Say I can magically manipulate like probabilities, just to add that little bit of extra luck.
I like that.
And he'll take out a really old pair of dice and smash them on the table to do that.
It's like an editor's note.
Magic is serious.
Don't touch my dice. Like, no actual dice were harmed in the drawing of this. Okay, that's fine.
So he'll donate 2 spark to that.
That sounds awesome.
Those are from dice jail.
This dice rolled poorly. They deserve to die.
So, and then can I also assist?
Yes, you guys can do a straight up team action if that's what you want to do. That is.
I think that makes sense because it's Lynx's video. Right Act has an idea of how we can make it look like it didn't come from a phone. And I can assist with my machine interface stuff. So.
Cool.
Okay.
So we need to figure out the dice on this. So, will this be super or normal?
I think it sound. Well, a lot of stuff you guys are throwing in sound kind of super, but I think the thing you're doing is pretty normal. So I'm going to say you're being normal. Like hacking is normal. Yeah. Any regular person could do it if they have the skill set.
I'm assuming tools because you can't hack without a computer. Unless you're static.
What kind of computer do you have? Like, do you have some kind of like Palm laptop deal, or?
Are we going to say we're not going to do this out in public at the coffee shop? This is probably going to be later, right? But because I mean,
sure.
Yeah,
oh, come on! Nobody pays attention to what you're doing at the coffee shop.
Yeah.
Okay. Well. All right. So. Got a starting pool of 4. Who's helping with what?
Oh, here. Hold on, Windows Update got in the way. Okay. Sorry.
See, I donated 2 spark.
Yeah.
So that adds dice.
And I'll put in 2 spark too to help you out with. That'll just. I'm good with getting it piped to wherever you want it to.
I'll also throw in 2 spark.
All right.
So we're going to add, that'll be a total of 10, I believe.
Sounds like it. You want to go ahead and clear dice? Oh, you just did it in the middle. All right.
Oh.
It's all right. 2.
Are you kidding me?
I think you got it. Just.
Yes, I got 5 pals and an oof.
All right. So you are the one making the roll, so the oof will affect you. You do lose 1 of your spark. But but you are able to kind of bounce this through several different VPNs and able to mask it. You, in fact, have enough success as to where you could potentially make it obvious that it's someone else if you so wished. Or would you rather keep it anonymous?
I was kind of keeping it anonymous. I was hoping to more or less make it look like maybe someone else who does that kind of thing for a, living or hobby, like an online blog type thing, conspiracy nut, whatever, journalist, had basically got, quote, leaked info from the actual security footage from the storage unit.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll look like whoever done it acquired it by normal means or not, anything fancy, but.
Sweet. So here are a couple of options for you. There is an organization called SEEA, SEEYA, SEEA.com. And they are a website, blog, online broadcast, and internet discussion focused on breakups of supers, but they also like a good, juicy heroes done wrong story. So that could be an option for you.
So like an anonymous tip, basically, including video.
Yeah. I love it. You kind of post in as somebody. It looks like they've had a number of posts, so they don't get downvoted immediately, and it picks up like crazy. Like there's a bunch of people who are just dogpiling on and talking about Yes Man in high school was terrible, and
that's me typing that.
you do that? Cool. I love it. So you like add
Off
in
my phone. He was such an ass.
Deirdre's like, he was the worst. Was he really the worst? Was he really the worst boyfriend, or was he okay then?
I think what it was is that I thought he was the best, and then I realized that he was.
All right, nice. Yeah. So all this gets posted up on SEEA.com. I love it. Dish towel. God, that's the worst. So you guys are enjoying your success, seeing like all the comments scrolling up, and it's not just Scoville Terrace now. It's passed in. So there's actually, you see it pop up onto the screen of the college kids, and they laugh about it, and they're like, whoa, and they're watching the video, and like, oh shit, whoa, styrofoam, man, oh poor guy, and they're like, oh, let's jump on there, and they start commenting as well, and it starts going viral. And so what do you guys do?
We have some coffee.
Nice.
Rich, we have some coffee.
Yes.
And we bask in the vicarious thrill of that shitpost. It is glorious.
Way to go. I love it. So it is like it's nearly midnight when the door to Professor Coffee opens up and a member of the Future Legion walks in. The Future Legion member is a guy by the name of Coppertop, and I've got a picture of him and the NPCs and places. I love this picture because it's like the best picture of a D-bag superhero I could ever find. He actually has shorts. He has electricity powers. He is basically a walking battery. And Coppertop comes in. He's all literally like copper skinned. It's metal sheen to it. He does have the stash. He 100% has the stash. He's like actual hair too, which is really weird looking on a metal face. So he's got this swoop hair and the stash. And he comes in. He's got his jetpack, of course, because that's how he arrived. He like whoosh, he kind of landed just outside and walks in and looks around. And he walks up to the professor, but he doesn't call him the professor. He's like, "Hey there, Kirby. Listen, we are looking for a few folks who attacked a couple members of the Future Legion as they were trying to stop a robbery. We don't have any pictures of them, but I can give you a quick description that Yes Man and Coldheart provided me. Now, one of them is Lynx, that cat girl. She was in there causing some trouble. And the other one is that robot guy. Prof looks around. He's got his kind of his little circular glass, like his little John Lennon glasses, and he's sitting at a table. He's not behind a counter. He's not a counter kind of guy. And he says, "I don't know what you're talking about, man. Sorry." He says, "Well," Coppertop says, "I'm not surprised that you wouldn't be engaged. You're not even a member of the Better Business Bureau or Make Scoville Shine. Not at all disappointed that you allow riffraff in here like you would. It's a real shame that you're not really zoned for this kind of activity. I'll need to bring that up with the government. Well, have a good night, Kirby." And looks around, sneers at you guys, and starts to head out.
He's not getting away with that.
Oh, really? What do you want to do?
Oh, yeah. No, he's not. I think I'm going to, like, hide my face in my hands, and I'm going to call out, "Hey, isn't that guy part of the Future Legion?"
Oh, cool. Yeah. He turns around, and he goes, "Of course I am." And the college kids are like, "Oh, get out of here, man. You suck.
Yeah.
We don't want your kind."
Yeah, we're like, oh, point of pride.
Oh, he does the arms akimbo, and he says, "Of course I'm a member of Future Legion." You can see he's got like all like patches and stuff, and he's got the the FL is on the little thing because he shows his arms. Right, he's really proud. He's worked hard on his delts. And
Can I get some video of that?
yeah,
Okay.
totally. You should get video of these college kids and you guys jeering him. I think you're trying to shame him a little bit here.
I just want to think of him going, "Of course I'm with Future Legion."
Oh,
so that we
nice,
can
nice.
post that as
Okay,
sort
cool.
of like a joke meme to follow up the other thing. So,
Yeah, I love that. I don't even think that's a roll. That's just you quickly snap that little bit. You can snip it on either side and meme the crap out of it.
Make it a GIF.
mhm.
Animated GIF. That sounds good. So Coppertop doesn't quite catch on that this is going to go badly for him. And he sneers at you guys and then says, "Well, citizens, have a good evening. I'm going to go out and keep you safe from actual crime." And then he heads out, opens the door, and whoosh, takes off on his jetpack flying away.
I'm going to keep you safe from actual crime. Apparently polluting the air with jetpacks is not a crime anymore. Like the
There's
rest
like smoke or just outside of Professor Coffee.
Awesome.
Cool. Anything else you guys wanted to do tonight? Otherwise, we're going to kind of skip ahead.
So who was the person that you mentioned was going into a meeting of some sort in the back room?
Great question. Claudia Cross. She's a character you guys have created within the neighborhood. She's a notable resident. She's a local up-and-coming agitator, kind of like our Scoville version of AOC. She pushes for community involvement and government cleanup and anti-corruption. She's been in the back meeting with some people and didn't hear a lot of this commotion unless you guys do something about it.
Yeah. So I think, I do kind of keep an eye on things and see if I can sort of sidle back to listen to what's going on in there. If that makes any sense.
Say again, you want to go in the back and kind of...
Yeah, I just want to like kind of go back towards the back and see if I can hear what the meeting is about.
Sweet. All right, cool. So you head back and you recognize...
I think the restrooms are back there, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, the ladies and men's restrooms are back there near. It's just it's not like it's away from the others in that it's a private room. But if you want, you could maybe push the door open, maybe get away with like eavesdropping a little bit. I'll say it's typical for you to try to sneak there if you want to eavesdrop a wee bit. It's mundane for you to do something like this. Right? Everybody can be a little sneaky sneak.
A little sneaky, sure.
Sweet. And I think you're trying to move up to that without being caught. So I'm going to say it's feet.
Okay. I have
Crap,
no
you're
idea.
really good at that now.
Am I?
You are. You've got a feat of 3, and you've just bought up your normal, which is really smart. So you got 5 dice. This is a typical difficulty. Tension is not in effect. It's not like they're going to attack you.
Okay, well, I'll just give it a try, see if this works out. Unfortunately, I got to find the role for your party thing. So
I'll link you to it. It's the rarely resolved ostrich.
Oh. Thank you. So I'm rolling 5d10 or d6?
You are rolling 5d6.
Okay, thank you. And I've got to clear, so I got to find the clear thing. God, I'm so slow on this. I apologize. Okay.
Don't worry about it.
Here we go, peoples. That looks okay to me. I got a 1, so a oomph, but I also got 3 evens. So that's 2.
That 1 is not going to hurt you on this roll. It was kind of a low stakes thing, but those 3 successes are exactly what you need, plus a little bit more. So you push that door open, you can look in, and you see Claudia. She's seated on the back of a chair, like the back part, and her feet are on the place where you sit. I don't know how you describe that, but hopefully that visual makes sense.
She's sitting on top of the chair.
Yeah, there we go. She's sitting on top of the chair. Her elbows are on her knees. She's kind of like, she's thin. She's actually maybe about your age. And she's listening intently. And you recognize there are 4 members from a lot of the local business owners here along the strip near Professor Coffee. And there's a lot of smoke in the room. These guys and girls are older, right? And there's a few drinks that are sitting around. Like you could see that a few people brought some beers in. And one of them says, we've got to do something about this. And I can't afford the Future Legion anymore, man. They work for Alistair, and their rates keep going up. And Claudia says, I don't think that we need to involve any of that kind of group. Let's just report it to the police. And the owner of a small antique shop says, the police are no better. All they want to do is make Schofield shine. I mean, all they do is just to try to arrest people, drive out half of my customers because they don't look right. Now, I think we need to talk to, what's that group? The Scourge? And Claudia's like, whoa, I don't think we need to get involved with those folks. They have a pretty bad reputation. You guys openly asking them to get involved is just asking the Future Legion to come knock on your doors. I'll handle this, okay? Let me take care of this and give me 3 days, okay? 3 days. They all kind of murmur to each other. They don't seem terribly happy. And the guy who owns the antique shop, he says, all right, Claudia, 3 days, and then we're gonna call the Scourge. I mean, because they work for like coupons, especially that one guy. You give him some coffee, and he'll do it. She's like, okay, cool. You know what escalates things. We should take care of this on our own. So I've got this. And she hops off the chair and she starts heading towards the doorway. What do you do?
Oh, well, I just step back and I'm like, essentially do that thing of like, you know how you've gotten off your shift at work and you're changing into other clothes?
Yeah.
She'll catch her right in the middle of that she's doing that in the hallway right there. And she's like, oh God, because she's like clearly just pulling her jeans up, if that makes sense.
Oh, and Claire's like, whoa.
Oh, sorry, it's too small in the bathroom. She's like.
Oh, yeah, right. Deidre, right? Hey.
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
Oh, what? No, it's fine. I've seen it before. It's cool. Are you okay? Long night?
And she goes, yeah, it just smelled like kafta,
Oh, well, yeah, don't smell me. I smell like cheap cigarettes now.
She goes, yeah, it's pretty smoky back there.
Wow, the Better Business Bureau. It's fine. It's fine. I'm going to get some coffee and then go home and take a shower.
Okay. And she goes, here, sorry. And then pass by each other in the hallway, kind of both, turning with their backs against the thing. So.
Nice. And then she comes into the main room where all of you guys are drinking coffee or the like. Answer again. Exactly. That's what Link should do. Here, it's a private security system and furry. Luis is loving Link's power too much, I think. And unless you guys out in the main area stop her, then Claudia will head out.
Is there some way more or less draw her attention to like what the college students are watching about the whole thing blowing up on the Future Legion with the?
Sure. I mean, you could just draw focus to it in an obvious way that Claudia catches that. She'd go look over their shoulder. She's not normally a nosy person, but they're pretty wide open about the video. Is that the Future Legion? And she looks over at you. Oh shoot! And she knows your name, Jake, right? She looks over at you, Jake.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Look, they did a number on that styrofoam guy.
What was he doing that they would? That's pretty harsh.
Yeah, they essentially took his hand off.
Yeah, we didn't get what he's doing before on the video. Just that's all the video is. Just showed what they were basically doing to him.
I mean, it's not like anything he could have done would afford them like shattering his hand. The guy has rights.
I agree. She reaches in, she pulls out her phone, she starts kind of pulling that up, and then she catches. You see the copper top meme comes across. And she flips over to Sia.com and is checking out that video and looking through the comments. It's Future Legion. I mean, no one voted them in or appointed them this kind of power. It's like we have a miniature military mercenary force in Scoville Terrace.
Yeah, and they're super powered and backed by rich people, so that always goes well.
Right. Yeah. Well, Alistair proudly backs them. Maybe this will be the kind of leverage we need to get him to disavow this group, maybe even disband them. I've got to deal with missing dogs. She clicks her phone off. Well, you guys have a great night.
Whoa, missing dogs?
Yes.
What's going on with dogs?
Can we step outside?
Sure.
And if I remember correctly, you're terrible at keeping up who you like. Your fake. You like at one point you wore a diamond mask. You didn't bother. Then you wore some shades, but
he alternates so much. That's almost a disguise in itself because you never know exactly.
So you never know what wild card will look like. So maybe she doesn't know that you're wild card, but she would know Jamie, the copy editor, right? Maybe you've even worked on a few slogans or something for her.
Yeah,
he's
probably done like one or two oddball jobs, and of course he'll occasionally show up at community meetings and complain about stuff.
Stuff at your tenement, your one bedroom tenement. She wants to step outside. Anyone who wants to follow is fine. It just seems like she doesn't want to talk about this sensitive thing that was talked about in a back room, like openly in the coffee shop. So if anybody else wants to follow, it doesn't seem like she's excluding. She just doesn't want to talk about it in front of a bunch of college kids and the professor and all that.
Jamie grabs his 2 cups of coffee and follows her out, and he's like double fisting the coffee, like one sip from one cup, one sip from the other.
I think people will start to connect the dots if there's always the 4 of us talking to a person at the same time. So I'll just hang around inside for a while and hope there's a cat outside.
Rich rolls imaginary dice. There's a cat outside. Sweet. So you head outside and we see the painted on the window thing, Professor Coffee, and she pulls out of her little clutch purse some perfume and squirts it on herself because she just can't stand the smell of all the smoke that she's been in. She's just Jamie, I mean, it's nothing for you to worry about, but there have been some dogs going missing, and the Better Business Bureau, the guys that own the shops up and down Scoville, Maine, are a little upset about it. They said they filed some reports and police are ignoring it. It's, I don't know. It could be Joey. She kind of points back towards the coffee shop, and you know that Joey is a guy that runs say he's got a small paint shop, you know, like a paint supply shop. Joey says that there's a Vietnamese place, and that's not true. And really racist. But cops aren't listening. They can't afford Future Legion. I really don't want them to make any more of a stink than they're already making, so I'm going to try to figure out what's going on. Canvas, ask around. Surely somebody's seen a dog disappear. We'll figure it out.
What kind of dogs are these? I mean, like purebreds, or they're guard dogs, or what?
Guard dogs, a pit, a few Dobermans, a German Shepherd. She pulls out her phone and kind of wakes it up and starts going through her notes.
So these are big dogs. This isn't like, you know, somebody snatching somebody's toy poodle off the sidewalk.
No, that's a good point. Yeah, they're all bigger dogs, guard dogs. One was actually snatched out of a backyard. It's a couple of blocks from here. So the chain was still there. Not someone I knew, but yeah, they chained the dog outside. I mean, it could be a for all I know, it could be some right fighters.
Yeah, it could be some animal rights people if they're stealing them from situations like that. Is that consistent across all of these things?
That's the thing. No real signs of struggle. These guys reported, not that they're investigators or anything, but there have been a total of 13 dogs that have gone missing, been taken, whatever, what have you, over the last week and a half.
13 exactly.
Yeah. Tonight was the 13th.
Damn it. Okay. Hey, would you mind, I might have a couple of contacts. I could maybe do some digging for you and shoot you back a message. Could you message those things to me as well?
Sure.
I don't like it when people mess with animals. That creeps me out.
Well, Jamie, will you promise me that you won't go pick a fight or anything? Just talk to me if you find out anything. I promised those guys that I would spearhead something. And
oh, come on! When was the last time you saw me pick a fight? I mean, yeah, it was that time that I got punched in the face in that coffee shop that one time. But that was I didn't actually pick that fight. I just called that dude a serious jerkbag, and he punched me. I don't think that counts.
She looks over to you, Deirdre. Like, do you think that counts? Like, she doesn't say that, but she kind of asks that with her eyes.
She's like, he was a jerkbag.
Okay. Punishing dirtbags' fists with your face is its own kind of heroism, Jamie.
Hey, that he was really nursing that fist. Like, he came in with it bandaged up for like at least a day. I mean, those knuckles were really scuffed.
I hope he broke some metacarpals. Cool. All right. Yeah. Let me shoot this to you. You say it's wildcard@gmail.com. Is that? What an interesting email.
No, he would totally freaking do that. Actually,
wildcard765.
And then he would mock anybody that tried to say he was wildcard. Yeah, because wildcard would totally use wildcard as the email address. Come on, I've had that for freaking years, man. Before that wildcard guy ever showed up.
Nice. Cool. So Claudia says, "Hey, thanks. If you hear anything, let me know. We'll get this figured out. We'll take care of it. I mean, I've had dogs. I understand. It's a thing. Do either of you guys need a ride anywhere?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, have a good night." And then she'll head out.
Sort of look at Jamie and go, 13.
13's always bad. It's always bad. And he starts like, you know, looking through the little things on his phone. Let's see. All of them are big. All of them big dogs. He just starts cycling through that and mumbling to himself.
What do you need us to do?
Oh, but hold on a second. Let me forward this to you. And he like shuffles his fingers around, and eventually you guys get the same message he did.
Okay. Any pattern?
Well, I know we've got all these dogs are big. They're showing no signs of struggle. Some of them were like stolen out of chains outside. So no sign of actually like any harm done to the dogs on site, it looks like. So it could be animal rights activist types. I mean, that's possible. The 13 thing creeps me out. Every time I see that number, it always turns out to be significant. Sure, my sample size isn't great, and I'm not doing statistics. I'm not a scientist, but 13.
Isn't that number magically significant at times?
It can be. It can also just be a number. See, that's the tricky part. But you know, with disappearing animals, you know, number 13, large canines. I mean, and it's not like that's a really common dog type to have in Scoville anyway, because it's hard to have the space for one of those dogs. Like lots of folks have like the smaller dogs, but I mean, most everybody here lives in like apartments and things like that. So these are obviously dogs for most of the folks that have like money enough to have space, because you're not going to have that dog in like my one bedroom dump. You know, you're going to have some space to have that kind of dog living, or you're going to have a yard that it needs to guard, or a large space that you're having it patrol or something like that. So these dogs are being taken from at least a few people of means, it sounds like.
Well, the business owners, definitely. And she sort of doesn't. No one has said that they've seen. I mean, have you heard or seen any dogs running around in the streets or anything? I certainly haven't.
Not lately. I guess we could ask. Elise if Elise might have more of an eye on that sort of situation than we might.
Oh. Yeah. So we'll text her because she's still in there in the coffee shop. What do you think?
I think she steps out right at that moment, and you see like the small cat jump off the roof and run away into the night. And she says, "Yeah, I got more than a pair of eyes on it. If something's going on with the dog, I should be able to find out."
Oh man! So, do the cats talk to you sometimes, or is it just a thing where you have an affinity for them and you can see through their eyes?
I'm starting to decide that it's what I said in the blurb. I think it's an actual hive mind. I think all cats are mentally connected, and we just don't know it because they just don't care what the other cats think.
Cool. I think if you put out to the hive mind, "Hey, let's look for anyone stealing the dogs," they're generally like, "Why would we care?"
Yeah, it's like reading Twitch chat in a very intense esports competition event. You're gonna pick up some relevant information there, but it's just an endless stream of nonsense.
Nice. Hey, what did you do with that stone that Styrofoam gave you?
I still have it. I haven't gotten around to showing it to anyone. I wanted to get Wildcard's opinion.
Okay.
Oh, if you ask him, he'll say, "Well, I probably need to go somewhere like private to look at it." And he thinks for a second and says, "Let's see, my apartment's like maybe 4 blocks that way."
No, not your apartment.
It's not as bad as it was. It's still. I mean, hey, the cinnamon smell is still there, but it's kind of pleasant now. Like it's not that burnt cinnamon that it was originally. It's kind of just a general light cinnamon scent.
Like someone vomited up Imperials.
I think we have to see this one-room bedroom in a tenement now.
Okay.
I think it's the thing where you convince them with your cinnamon the cinema smell getting better. We turn the page, and we see your 1-bedroom tenement. What is something about this tenement that speaks to exactly how little extra cash that you have on hand?
I think that literally every piece of furniture in here looks like it was bought at a different yard sale. The actual furniture, like bought at a yard sale, that level of furniture. Like he's sleeping on like a futon that looks like it was used for a professional wrestling match at some point. The chairs are all from different sets of things. The table is not matched to any of the chairs. The coffee table is just like a big packing crate, like an old wooden packing crate you don't know where he got that, but it's that type of furniture.
Nice. I love it. That's very newly in college chic. It's great. So you guys all stand around. It's one of those where it has the two burner stove kind of thing going on. The smaller fridge that actually has like significant gaps on either side of it because originally the counter space was designed for something bigger, but that died many years ago. And still, the fridge you have is avocado.
It's still a really, really old fridge, but it runs really well, and it doesn't smell too bad.
Is it because of Riot Act that it runs really well?
Almost certainly.
Yeah.
Like it still keeps things cold. It doesn't have an ice maker, but it does have a freezer. So like he most of the time will have at least one tray of ice in there.
Cool. You guys are in here. Down at the bottom, little note that says that it's about midnight. Some of you guys have work in the morning. FYI.
Yeah,
and that baking soda that's in the refrigerator is the original thing of baking soda that Riot Act put in there when he fixed the refrigerator.
It's like the Arm & Hammer font is so old they like changed packaging 5 times since the time that was put in.
It's vintage.
Well, I did have the same bag of salt for a year and a half, so I get where that's coming from. I pull out this gem and I say, okay, is it just my bias or does this look magic? Because I don't think Sauroform would put that into his chest if it wasn't important.
Well, I mean, look at that thing. I mean, if you were a wizard, I mean, and you found that thing, if it wasn't already magic, you'd want to make it magic, right? So let's take a look at it. And he reaches into a drawer. He roots around for a little while. He pulls out a old, ratty-looking. It looks like a dishcloth. But when he lays it out, you see it's got all these little designs, sort of hand drawn on it in permanent marker. These little ritual mystic symbols, everything from a little bit of Kabbalistic Hebrew maybe, and then there's a couple of like Enochian looking signs and all sorts of just different things like that, designed to sort of short circuit any residual magic for anything that's placed on top of this little dishcloth. And he takes the thing and puts it on top of the dishcloth, so that it won't affect, so that him trying to figure this thing out won't allow the magic that's in it to get to anybody else in the room while he's doing this. Okay, so let's see.
I love that you have a washcloth of protection.
Yes. Only for the thing that you can sit on the washcloth. That's the downside. It has to be small enough to go on that little washcloth. He once had a really dangerous bar of soap that was made from demon fat, and so he had to have this. So he sets it down and says, okay, so let's see if it's going to tell us anything. And he will take out this little package out of one of the other drawers, and it's like a little baggie of party glitter. And he takes it up, he pops the top off of it, he sort of tosses it up in the air, and then swirls his hand around to get it to all sort of drift down onto the top of this little jewel. And he's going to basically work the equivalent of a detect magic type of spell to see if there's any enchantment on this particular thing, and then he'll have to try and work out exactly what it is. But this will actually tell him if it's magic or not.
I love this. I think I'd like to put a roll to see how much you're able to ascertain with this cool little glitter magic spell. Glitter is magic. No one can tell me differently. You're definitely being super here. And I think maybe tools. Does tools seem right to you?
Yeah, I think so. If he has access to that, he would usually go for the tools because that at least helps channel the magic more specifically. When he improvises, I guess it would probably be head.
Okay.
But, he's not really improvising here. Okay, and let's see. So he's using the superpowers. So that'd be a 3 plus 2 plus another 2 for a total of 7 dice. And I don't think he's going to spend any more spark right now. He's going to bank what he's got right for spark.
All right, so you're going to get some information, but to really dial down about this, you're going to need an incredible success.
Ooh.
4.
All right.
I'm going to throw a spark in. I know that I'm a little low, but I'm kind of invested in this because I'm interested in cat-related magic things because that's basically my only connection to my dead parents at this point.
Okay. I'll maybe we can say that basically your desire sort of adds a little bit of extra oomph to the spell.
Yeah, maybe you can draw from it. Like we see like this mist come out of her chest and join the glitter.
I like that. Maybe the glitter sort of swirls around a little bit more than I think it should, and it drifts over in the direction of Elise, and then slowly drifts back.
Oh,
and
that's cool.
I'm like, and he points to you and says, "Hey, don't do that." But okay, so that'll be a total of 8 dice, I think.
All right, got an even chance.
Ooh, I think I'm. Oh, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 4. I don't think I've got full 5.
No, you didn't need 5. I said it was incredible. So
okay.
You needed 4 successes. So the first thing is that this, as Styroform has said, you recognize this as a cat's eye, a stone, and this it definitely has the power of some cat magic. This particular item has a very distinct aura to it. It was created by someone that you know rather well, Wildcard, because this was created by Mortigern Dunwich, your former teacher. And this particular item, you believe, will help, it will effectively empower Lynx, would give her greater abilities with her affinity with cats.
But what sort of jerky business did Mortigern also put on this thing?
Oh yeah, like a locator spell.
Okay, so he's like, okay, some good news, some bad news, and some other bad news. First, the bad news. This thing does have a locator spell on it. The other bad news is that it belongs to a serious dickbag of a wizard. The good news is that it does have some magic in it that would enhance what you do, or I guess some of what you do with your connection to felines, Elise. But by using it, you may actually activate that locator spell for the dickbag wizard who enchanted this thing.
So I think you see she's actually a little disappointed at that. And Alicia just says, oh, so it's just like some random wizard decided to make a cat-related thing.
Well, I'm not sure necessarily if he randomly decided to do it. this could be for some very specific experiment. I mean, this guy is like, this guy can get obsessive about some particular topics, like, and he may, I mean, he's really old. So he may have been working on cat related stuff for like 200 years. And this might be the end result of all of that work. I mean, it's not necessarily random, but it looks like something he did. And there may have been some original residual magic in the stone itself, just from its formation. But he definitely put some work into this thing. I can try to disable part of the magic and keep the other part, but that might be a longer process than we really want to try right now.
I mean, this is. I'm sorry.
But I can work on that, but that's probably going to be more of a long-term project.
But is this guy dangerous? Like, what's the worst thing he could do if he finds me?
Well, he's like a centuries-old wizard, so it could probably be pretty bad. He's not like normally like cruel necessarily, but he is kind of a jerk. This is the guy who taught me, and who I ditched because he was a total jerk.
I mean, I do have jerks on the daily, so if he's not usually cruel, I can probably spin it. I can run circles around this guy. Okay, I'll take it. I want the magic cat eye.
Okay. Are you sure you don't want me to see if I can remove the other thing first? Like, give me a chance to kind of work on that before you start using it?
I mean, we got this magical cat-related thing, on the very same day that we discovered that 13 dogs have been kidnapped. If that doesn't look like magic bullshit to you, I don't know what will. I think we're gonna need this. This whole thing might be related. Be like a wizard with a really poor taste in metaphors.
Well,
so what are the odds that Styrofoam would have broke into that one storage unit that happened to have this thing?
Oh, somebody probably put him up to that. I would have liked to have gotten that out of him, but we didn't really have time because, we had the future Legion after us. And
was this that wizard's storage unit, or was this perhaps stolen from him and hidden there?
Yeah, it would be kind of really dumb for somebody to steal it and hide it in a storage bin, because it wasn't like there was any sort of mystical protection there. I mean, it was just a storage unit.
It's meant for Styrofoam to find it, though.
Yeah, somebody put him up to it. My guess is somebody wanted to steal this particular thing and knew that it was being stored there. And it's not a spectacularly cataclysmically powerful item or anything. So it's not like he would necessarily have taken a ton of precautions, I don't think. But yeah, stealing anything from an old wizard is generally bad news. So whoever did this is probably serious business. And whoever put Styrofoam up to grabbing it is probably serious business.
Okay, so we need to ask Styrofoam some questions. I'm sorry.
No, actually, because is Mortigan still around?
Somewhere. Like, he comes and goes a lot. Like, he lived here for maybe about 150 years or so. I don't know if he's still here, because honestly, I don't keep up with him very much.
Lacey, you said that you got like whatever this was from your family. Could it have been them that Mortigan was tracking at one point?
I honestly don't know. I'm kind of hoping he tries to find me, because I would love to ask him some questions. If he's been messing with my family with this scat power bullshit, he's gonna have to answer for it.
I wouldn't necessarily put that sort of experimentation past him. He does have a tendency to be really clinical about his magical experiments. One of the reasons why he's kind of a jerk. I could definitely see him like experimenting in that way. So, okay, well, if you really want to use it, I will ask you to do this. Is until you're actually ready to use it, keep it wrapped up in this dishcloth. And he sort of wraps it up, and he gets out like a little zip tie, and like zip ties it closed. So when you're ready to use it, take it out. That way, as long as this rag is active, he won't find you until you take it out. But you won't be able to access the magic without taking it out. So
Yeah, I think I look at this. It's literally like a dishcloth inside a zip bag. Is that it?
no, it's like the dishcloth. It's a dishcloth with all this permanent marker, mystical gibberish scribbled on it.
Yeah.
He wraps that around the stone, and then he ties the top of that up with like a quick little zip tie.
Oh, I got it now.
Because he doesn't want it to come loose until you're ready to take it apart. And it figures with your cat claws, you just like cut it because it's not super tough or anything. It's just a dishcloth with some writing on it.
Okay. Yeah, I think she picks it up and she says, this I couldn't have possibly predicted this was how my superhero life was going to play out. But thank you, Jamie. It means a lot. I'm glad that I have someone to rely on for once.
No, just seriously, don't use that thing. Don't pull that thing out of there until you're ready to use it, and then just be ready for that guy to show up.
Oh yeah, that's a total refresh.
Absolutely. You guys nailed it. Just walked right into a refresh right there. Great job. I'm going to give 3 back to that brief conversation between Wildcat and Lynx. So you guys take 3 there. That was great.
Once more, Wildcat is our fusion form.
Yes.
You said Wildcat again, Rich.
Wild card. Whoops.
Walk right into it.
I did. I messed up. Oh,
yeah.
Dang it.
That is the fusion form now.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's ever really done that spell, but I'm sure he's tried to do a version of the fusion spell since he watched Dragon Ball Z that one time high. So
awesome. Cool. We're about at the halfway point, so I'd like to go ahead and take our mid-game break. It is 34 after, so let's meet back at 20 till, so 6 minutes. See you guys in 6 minutes. My dog thought he was going to come in here. He got really excited when I came out of the office. And he was going to follow me back in. But he only lasts like 2 minutes and then he starts scratching at the door. So I'm like, nope. He's sweet, kind of, for a puppy. But yeah, everything's a threat. He's a very scaredy cat. All right. Welcome back. He is 7 months old. So, yeah, we're still training him. It's slow going because he's kind of stubborn. By kind of, I mean completely. I'd like to skip ahead to see your day-to-day, like your real job. Is that cool with you guys? You do that? Awesome. All right. We have not seen a whole lot from Lynx or Riot Act. Definitely not Riot Act so far. So I'd like to pick up with the Junk Shop. So give me the 411. Like let's go to this junk shop that Jake Davis runs. Do you have any? You run it by yourself, if I remember correctly. You don't have any employees. It's pretty much just you.
No, it's pretty much just me. It's like a little, kind of like, looks like a little brownstone thing with little shop windows, and I haven't thought of a good name yet for it. So basically, like I said, just go inside. You have a little counter like normal, and then in the back, just a few tables with dismantled, appliances and things that are still basically in the process of being repaired or waiting on parts.
People bring stuff in. Do you do house calls?
Sometimes. I mean, sometimes there's, neighbors or whatever. I might go and fix stuff for them. If it's something, I mean, I don't expect them to try to carry like a washing machine in or something. I might, step out and, like if they're elderly or poor or whatever, I might give them a break on the cost or pretend like I'm going to bill them and then not charge them anything, kind of a thing,
I like it.
And I'd say there's probably like an apartment above it that basically where I live.
Oh, I like that. I like that idea. Are you your own super? Like you kind of pay for the whole building type deal?
Yeah, it's kind of a small shop, so it's only like a single apartment above it. It's not like a whole apartment building.
Okay, cool. Basement?
Sure. I've always wanted a basement. But no.
Then not a West
Maybe just some
Virginia
storage.
Thing. All right, cool. Basement.
Just a gamer thing.
Oh yeah, I hear you. Sweet. So we have a couple panels of the day-to-day. Mr. McKenzie comes in, pushes in his little lawnmower, and you grab it and kind of flip it over and do a little bit of work there. And then maybe there's an older lady who comes in to check on her hand mixer. Like she's got one of those old style hand mixers for her cooking bakery type stuff that she does, and she chats with you for a bit, and then there's a few panels of her chatting and you working, and her still chatting and you working, and then her still chatting, and eventually you hand off the mixer and she talks for a little bit more, and then she leaves. She's one of those like, oh shoot, is it Red Hat ladies? I can't. Okay. Yeah, cool. So she wears the red hat for that. It goes okay with her dress, a flowery dress, and she ambles out of the shop. And she didn't believe it when I told her it was not a Judy Garland movie. And I'm stealing a quote from Luis in the chat there. That was pretty clever. I love that bit of chatter. What is the hardest part of your job, Jake?
Well, sometimes I'd say usually, like I said, we're not in probably a very rich neighborhood, so I mean, it's not always making a ton of money. I mean, I usually scrape by, but other than that, or finding parts for older appliances that are kind of obsolete, but people still have because they can't afford anything newer or more modern.
Cool. So and we see you've got a little ledger. Maybe you have a laptop of some kind, Chromebook, or a crap top or a Linux machine that you've reconditioned and made your own. And you're looking at the books and you see that the ledger is not looking too strong. And that's when, do you have a bell or like some kind of chime when people come in?
I'd say there's probably one on the door.
Awesome.
One of them little springy types.
Chime at the door, and then you see this person walk in. This is Garrison, a member of the Future Legion. He is almost 7 feet tall. So he comes in, and he does this kind of habitual ducking his head down type thing so he doesn't butt into things. And then he steps aside from the door and holds it open. And in walks, wearing his nice overcoat, suit underneath, gray pinstripe suit underneath, this little red tie, and see this pinched face that you recognize immediately as Alistair Nevis. He comes in, he's got his little cane that's got a nice little kind of almost pimp style ruby on top of it. And he looks around. You see the shine on his glasses as he peers around, and then he walks up. Hey, Mr. Davis.
Is there something I can help you with?
He reaches up and he's got a white gloved hand, and he runs his fingers along a little bit of a shelf there. When I look around here, I see a lot of junk.
It is a junk shop.
But I also see a lot of wasted potential. You ever thought about working for some real money?
Ever so often, yes.
Mr. Davis, you should really consider it. This lien that you have on this particular building seems like you still owe a great deal of money.
Yes, I do what I can.
Yeah, you're not really biting into the principal, just making interest payments. You're going to be paying on this until you're a dead man. It's not a good plan. Heard you give away your services, not even charging people for what you do. Comes up to the counter, and he kind of presumptively leans his elbow on the counter. I've been thinking about buying this building. Then you'd kind of work for me. What do you think about that, Mr. Davis?
I didn't know if you think you'd have use for a appliance repair. You usually have. I mean, you're well known. You've got money, so you always figure you'd have your own people for repairs, unless you're just interested in.
But I've I don't know. I'm sure you could probably convince me to let you keep this place open once I buy it.
Well, maybe. I mean, but isn't this neighborhood more? No, kind of more run down than your style usually. I mean, you got, your places are high class. It's.
Let's be honest. I also own a few tenement buildings. Takes all kinds to make a world, doesn't it, Mr. Davis?
Yeah, sure does.
All right, well, You haven't made a very good case for the viability of this business. I was coming in about to make you a job offer, but guess you want to stay with your junk.
You didn't exactly say what the job offer was, but
So you might be interested in some new employment?
it just depends. I'd have to mull it over.
All right, well, I'll have my associate discuss terms with you. It was nice talking to you, Mr. Davis. He turns and he starts to walk out. And then you hear the chime of the door, and Garrison's still there. He's got his arms crossed. He's got a real good offer. Working for nothing here in this smelly, greasy pit. You could work for Alistair. It's a good job. You'll need to sign an NDA before we can give you any details for the work you'll be doing.
Yeah, do you like working for him?
He walks over, leans down, looks at you. He takes up most of the frame, like you're like the point of view is from behind you on a particular panel, and you're like this big, and he's just looms over you, and he goes, "I love it. We do the right thing for a fair price. It's a good job. We get to take down bad guys. You don't have to worry about, all the stuff the cops got to worry about. We just do it." So, should I bother even giving you this, or are you going to keep living in your filth here, Mr. Davis?
As I told your employer, I still just need some time to think on it. This isn't just something you just jump in, blindly. Or just, right away. Take some thought.
All right, well, I'll let you think it over then. And he leans over and he puts his hand on one of the washing machines, and his hand just crumples the metal. Oh, I'm so sorry. Butterfingers. You could bill me for it. What is this, $20?
It probably won't take me that long to hammer that out.
Yeah, I'm sure you won't. Is this goldenrod? Yeah, sure. Blue book value or whatever is really good. I'll be back tomorrow. I'll bring the papers. Think about it. Otherwise, Alistair's going to buy this building out from under you and drive you out of business anyway.
Okay.
Start lumbering out. So we will skip over to Montes Manor, because that amuses me. I like scenes with Penny Montes. And she's run with that particular color scheme that you had worked out last night. Penny comes walking in, and she has another girl that's about her size, maybe a little skinnier, who's dressed just like her, and she's got a bunch of pins, like bobby pins, and like in the dress, the girl that's dressed like Penny. And she turns around, and there's another younger person, maybe teenager, who's like writing down quick notes. And it looks like Penny is forcing one of her underlings to wear a similar dress that then she's going to have made to look just right, and then they'll have to make it to fit her. She says, Lisi, we have been hired for a new piece of work, and I need your help, darling.
Yeah, anything for you, Miss Montez? What's up now?
Good. Anything. Yes. Girls everywhere. It's just me and Elise. This is private girl talk. And everyone, she kind of excuses people from the room when you were on the, I assume, like on a couch or maybe a divan.
I'm thinking like a 16-seat white couch.
Wow. Okay, cool. So she comes over and she sits by you. And she says, so you know that I run No Masks Allowed. And it does great work in making sure that the unauthorized superpower beings aren't causing problems.
Yes, I'm aware. I've been working with you for quite a while now. It's inspiring work we do.
Well, we need to repair the image of some fine, upstanding young men and a woman. It's important.
Oh, I didn't hear anything. Did something happen?
There's a smear campaign that's going on for Alistair's future Legion.
Oh no, those poor innocent heroes.
I know. They were apprehending a criminal. And the criminal resisted. They were just doing their jobs as private security. And someone decided to take that video and doctor it to make it look like that criminal was innocent, or I don't know. It's not going well. Normally, I don't worry myself about the internet because it's all full of trolls and terrible people who never do anything other than sit on the internet and be evil to each other. But this seems to be bothering Alistair. So he's asked me to run he said a puff piece, but we don't run puff pieces. We don't do that kind of stuff. But if we could highlight the future Legion, some of the good works that they've done. So I'm looking for some inspiration, some designs. I mean, they've done so much good for Scoville Terrace. Like what are a couple of things that you would list if you were talking to one of your, I don't know, little friends?
Let's see. Things that the future Legion has done to make my life better as a citizen of Scoville Terrace.
Right. That's what I'm asking you to list for me.
And she's going on full on, like, this is for the readers mode. She goes, well, they did shut down that super noisy Latino party that happened in my block every Saturday.
Good. I like that. People who disturb the peace, they make sure that that's enforced. Okay, I'm good with that. That's a good one. We should just make a note of that on your little computer.
Yeah, I'm typing it down. They shut down that small business owner down the street who made that really tasty food from his country. It was his only means of supporting himself and his family. They were refugees, and they just shut it down. He didn't have a permit for it.
I don't think that would read too well. I would say, come on, you're better at this. I mean, unless you're not up for this, I thought that you were the best member of my staff for this kind of work.
Are you defending refugees? They didn't sneak into this country to be your friends.
Refugees, well, they're probably illegals.
Yeah, you know how those people are.
Okay. Well, you have me there. Thank you, Alice. All right, good. So, illegal immigrant, unauthorized, didn't have permits to sell, probably some tainted meat. I think we could sneak that in there. That might be It's probably true.
Yeah, and she's gonna try to like pinch some information out of Penny. And what about those dogs that have been going missing up there?
Oh. Hmm. Dogs missing. Why don't you give me? Let's work this to a roll. I think you're trying to talk her into revealing a bit of information, right?
Mhm.
What she knows.
Yep.
So I think you're trying to jaw against her, and this is a normal conversation.
Oh yeah.
So you're being normal. I'm gonna say the difficulty is typical, and if you fail, it's not gonna hurt. You just won't get any much of anything from her as of value, or she doesn't know anything. You need 2 successes.
All right. I'm just gonna straight up roll these 5 dice over here. I'm not gonna put any spark into it. Oh, I got 3 evens.
Well, of course, none of them have been dogs from up on the hill, so I only know a little bit about what I've heard, but it's all happening near the park.
Ooh, that's no good. I mean, it's probably one of some of those evil miscreants from the Scorpius Court doing that thing.
Oh, I think you may have struck upon something. You remember the park, the one that's up on the north side of Scoville Terrace near Zola Village and Fairgrounds? That's all of the house. For all I know, there could have been some dogs that have disappeared from Zola or Greaterville. I don't pay much attention to those neighborhoods. I try to keep everything centered around making Schofield shine.
Yeah, absolutely. You keep doing the large work, Mrs. Montez. Is that the one park that agitator Claudia Cross always wants to rename?
Oh, God, I have told you not to worry about that little rabble rouser. She's probably an illegal too.
Well, those illegals, now you know how they are. They just try to disturb the peace of good, God-fearing white rich folk like your own.
I know. And Hudson Nevis, the third park, that's a good name.
Yeah, it just
It's been
sounds,
around for years.
yeah.
Fraternity Park. That's so generic, boring.
That's so silly. Why would we name it after something about people getting together when we could name it about an old rich person who owns slaves? I mean, he earned that name. He had the initiative to go out there and buy those slaves. Not everybody did that.
Listen, we've had this conversation, Elise. Those folks would still be in Africa. And look how good they have it here.
It was basically a favor. I don't know why they didn't ask the slave to pay them to bring them here.
There's a reason they were indentured servitudes. Sure, it was hard for the first thing, but if you think in a more generational, overall, they've benefited. Their ancestors certainly have.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're gonna run with the keeping the public order and shutting down permitted restaurants and stuff like that.
Yes, just work up what you can on that. A few pieces. Maybe take some of the glamour shots that we have of Cold Heart. Maybe give her a little color. She looks so white. We should make her look a little ethnic, I think.
Well, I heard she's from Poland or something, so I think that counts.
Absolutely. Although I think she's actually from the Netherlands. Just beautiful people in the country.
Yeah. Yeah, and Alicia's just gonna feel this thing with dog whistles, like up and down as she makes them. It's like it's gonna fly right over Penny's head, but it's gonna be like when Fox News tries to do a smear campaign against a progressive, and then they just give everyone inspiring material instead when they say they want to abolish college debt, and everyone is like, okay, yay. So I'm just putting like the reverse of that. I'm trying to hype them up by making them look terrible.
Okay, but Penny isn't a complete fool, so I think you're gonna have to sneak it past her to get all these dog whistles in.
Okay.
So let's put this to a roll to see exactly how secretly damning this Future Legion puff piece is, but we don't do puff pieces. So let's say that that's going to be remarkable for you to pull it off, and your job's at stake, so tension is in effect. I mean, you're doing the right thing here, but it could cost you. Like, she catches you, you may be out on your ass and blacklisted. You may not be able to get this kind of work anywhere else. I mean,
yeah,
you're basically sitting in a mansion typing on your computer. It's not a terrible job, right?
Oh, it is. You just gotta shove your soul deep into yourself for a couple of hours. And then go back
but
outside.
it's work. It's work, though. You're not supposed to have a soul at work. You're just here to, be a cog in the machine.
I mean, she's got a magical stone in her pocket. She's not feeling the working class situation.
All right, so tension is in effect.
Okay.
The difficulty is remarkable.
All right, so it's gonna be normal, and is it head?
Feels like head because you're trying to be tricky with your words and hide and be subversive, right?
So glad I invested all those points in head. I'm gonna throw some spark in there. I really want this to succeed. I'm gonna throw 2 spark. Which brings me up to all the dice that are on the table at this moment, which I'll just re-roll. Oh, I got 1, 2. No, wait. Okay, I got. Oh, this is not good. I got 2 evens. I got 2 pals, and I got 2 oohs.
Ooh,
Today's the day.
That seems like a fail. That does seem like a fail. Okay, so you work on this for a while. She goes off. We have a couple panels of you typing this up and bringing in all the picture and doctoring a few photos and the like. And you see that the girl who has all the bobby pins, like all of a sudden she gets stripped down, and now they're remaking the dress, and she comes whisking back in, and Penny takes a look at it, and she asks you to print it out because she just doesn't like reading things on screen. She prefers dead trees, as she says, dead trees. But that's a renewable resource, so it's fine. And then she goes over to the little super expensive printer, takes a look at the glossy photos, of course, because she's got the super expensive, glossy paper and the like. It's bonded, She looks it over. Let me say, this is not what we talked about. This is terrible. I am so disappointed in your work. I guess your grasp of the language isn't as strong as I thought. I thought that we could communicate, that we were on the same page. I know this is a second language for you, and so I try to keep that in mind, but I really think you need to take a week off to think about this.
Oh my god, I'm so close to snapping at this point. Should I snap? Oh, am I gonna snap? I think we see there's cats amassing at the windows, these
tails just kind of going past the windows.
There's a bunch of pairs of eyes looking inside, and they're just their fur is on edge, and we see this frame of Alice's arm hair just jumping up and just getting so upset. You see her flex her fingers as if they were claws. She wants to jump and throw it at this woman, but I think she's gonna bite the bullet for now. She's gonna go, yeah, Absolutely. I've just been super stressed lately with my roommates. I'll just take a week off with no pay and just really work on myself, just do some self-care.
You should. I mean, it's a gig economy. I'm sure you can go onto that. I've heard of that Fiverr site or something where you can keep making ends meet. And I tell you what, I will not contest if you need to get any kind of assistance. We do have social programs. I mean, America's basically socialist.
Yeah, I'll absolutely get on that.
Okay. Well, think about what we've talked about. Elise, if you're willing to come back and do what I ask, I'm more than happy to keep you under my employ. Have a good afternoon. Take some
Thank
me
you.
time.
Thank you.
If Julie, can you call the animal control? There are a lot of cats outside.
Yeah, I think that can be seen. Like the last frame is just Alice like on her back walking outside the house, and there's just this crowd of cats looking at Penny with death in their eyes.
Nice. You're controlling the hive mind, and that little. I'm going to take a break. Time out for a moment. Is everybody okay? I just played a really rotten character. That was not rich. I love you guys. I respect you. I'm just making my villain villainous. Is everybody cool? All right, good. Just want to take that quick break to make sure, because I realized I was like deep in the mines, and I'm like, wow, I hope nobody's getting so upset. Don't forget, we do have X card. We do have tools for your safety. Please use them anytime that you feel unsafe or uncomfortable, or like really just want to tell me to shut up. But I hope that was okay. Penny's a terrible person. So
This was the moral event horizon for her. She's completely irredeemable at this point. We can do anything to ruin her life.
there's no coming back for Penny now. Before she was amusing, now she's just terrible. Cool.
By the way, in all fairness, they didn't sneak into your country to be your friends just from Arrested Development. I couldn't possibly come up with that on my own.
Okay, my dog shoved my office door open. I'm going to close it. I'll be right back. He does not have opposable thumbs. Evidently, the door was slightly ajar, and so he headbutted it open. And then came in and then walked out. Don't even know why. Okay, cool. Right, yeah, he's like Velociraptor. He's like a Velociraptor. Because my wife won't cut his dew claw because I'll quick him. Like his dew claw is like will do D4 plus 1 damage, so I think it needs to go. Sorry, just mix the streams there. Cool. Let's pick up with wild card because I'm curious what you do from a day to day. You're definitely living the gig economy kind of life there.
Yeah, and my guess is really the only way he makes this work consistently enough to even have a general place to stay is probably he's like also gigging it up with like little minor magics and stuff. Like he does the copywriting will bring in like real money, but like he'll occasionally like sell some magic stuff on like the the magic equivalent of your local like yard sale or like flea market economy or the equivalent in New Gauntlet City.
Wow. So do you ever create like a little gree and fetishes and other stuff for folks to buy like a little voodoo type person or?
Yeah. His style of magic is a little more mushy. So it's not, there's never like one particular tradition. It's more like, there's a little bit of like old Slavic magic. There's a little bit of like that sort of like sanitized hermetic stuff. And there's a little bit of like druidic stuff mixed in there, and some every once in a while like high wizardry stuff that that he learned from Mortigern. So he does a little bit of all of that. He doesn't try to emulate or fake any particular tradition stuff. Like he does not say, well, he doesn't sell things saying this is an authentic, like, Haitian gris-gris or anything like that. He's like, this is a charm to make your shirts pressed once you hang them up in the closet on this one rack. If you hang a shirt on this rack, it'll come off the rack and look like it's been ironed. That sort of stuff.
Cool. So let's see a scene with you working a little bit. What does that look like? Like when we open up, are you at your apartment? Is there a place you go to work? What does that look like?
Well, if he's doing the freelance writing gig, like the copywriting, he's almost certainly going to go to the coffee shop, Professor Coffee, and just be clacking it out in there. Because there's too much stuff like generating background noise in his apartment for him to be able to concentrate on actual, like, real stuff. Because he's got all sorts of little magic bits and pieces and parts and junk in his apartment in various places. And he would get way too distracted by the magic going on to be able to do like the regular writing stuff. So if he's prepping a magic item to sell or something like that, like a little charm bag, a little bug repellent tablet or something like that, he'll do that at home because like he can that space lets him concentrate on magic. So that little mini kitchen that studio apartment has, like that's like his little magic prep room too, which is why the stove is screwed up, because he uses it for that stuff too. So that's why that stove has that weird cinnamon burner that's still a little wonky. So you can, let's say today he's working on getting some stuff ready to sell, like at the Magical Bazaar this weekend. He's making like a couple of like little things that you can sell for like maybe $5 or something like that. Like here's a stone that will, if you put it in your flower pot, the flower or plant or herb or whatever it is will grow to its full size within like 2 days. Like, so it can do that, but it only works for one plant, and then that little charm is used up. That sort of stuff. And he's enchanting those, and to do that, he's just slowly, like, he takes each little pebble that's going to be the plant accelerator pebble, and he has a really cheap crap digital watch like you could buy at Dollar Tree nowadays, and he takes each pebble and he smashes each of those little watches with it as part of that enchantment. So, and then he gets it and he wraps it in like this little paste made from like grass, and sets it in there, and it sits in there overnight. And he makes a couple of press shirt hangers and that sort of thing. Like, and for that stuff, he takes each hanger, and let's say he lays the hanger down flat, and he has to rest it between two old like press panels that he managed to dig out of. Honestly, he probably got those from Riot Axe Jump Shop. He managed to find this old like laundry press from this old laundry, and he puts that hanger in there and whispers some words over it and lays like a really ancient dress shirt across the top of that. And after 24 hours, the magic takes effect, and that hanger will now show one garment as ironed if you hang it on it overnight. And he sells those for like $5 or $10, and that keeps him in just enough scratch to like buy coffee and stuff like that in between getting payoffs on the other gig.
Are there any other? Does he have any competition in Scoville Terrace for these little magic assistants?
I don't know that he has any direct competition for the stuff that he does, but there's definitely other folks that sell different things. Like he doesn't do love potions. Like he doesn't do like
Not anymore. Right?
yeah. Well, no, that one time, like he really thought it was going to work. It was going to be a good thing. Like it was supposed to be like, you know, reigniting romance in an old relationship, and that's what they told him. Turned out that was BS, and he's never doing that again. But there are people who sell like the older school stuff. The stuff he does is really stuff that he figured out that makes his life easier. Like if he needs a suit pressed, he created that hanger to do that for him because he hates ironing. He'd rather like waste an entire night doing that enchantment than to just iron the thing. So, so most of that stuff, he's the only one who does that kind of thing. So if you're looking for that sort of thing, he's your guy. If you want some like more traditional magic item, like you want something like protection from curses and stuff like that, he might not be the best guy for that. He'll sell a few things every once in a while, but the stuff he does is usually so specific that it's almost like it's an a la carte sort of thing. It's like I think I'm getting the evil eye from this lady at my office that's going for the same job I am, and he might do something for that specifically, but it won't be like something he just sells like this is a little medicine bag to protect you from the evil eye or something. He doesn't do that stuff.
This is fascinating. I bet you are just like the little neighborhood witch doctor after a fashion.
Yeah, he is your postmodern connection for really, really slackers who want to have things magically done, but don't want to actually put the work in to do that themselves.
Okay, cool. So that's what we see for a whole page is just you working through all of the weird gree and the other things that you create, and it's not a stream, but an occasional dribs and drabs of people coming by for a not lust potion and not evil eye protection device and the like. That is pretty cool. Is people know to come to your 1-bedroom apartment, or do you have like office hours at the coffee shop?
I think he probably there's usually he'll do some business at the coffee shop with that sort of stuff by appointment. And he also will occasionally like just go out to like the nighttime bazaar, and he'll sell that stuff like from like a little mini booth. Because there's just a bunch of like tables and stuff that are set up out in that particular space for that one night. And it shifts around a good bit throughout the neighborhood. Like it's never in one place because then they could bust it. So he has.
Who are they?
Oh, they were just the regular authorities. I mean.
Oh, okay. So just like cops would get you for selling stuff.
Yeah, they don't. I mean, they're not going to accept that hanger is magic. Like I don't see them accepting that. There might also be a group of more traditional magicians who consider that to be like a pollution or reduction of the magical arts.
I could see that.
And that would definitely be something that Mortigern would be all about. I could definitely see him being into that sort of policing. But generally, the hoity-toity wizards are so busy doing their big magic stuff that they don't bother so much. Like it would really have to raise a huge stink for one or more of them to take an interest in actually going down and trying to get rid of it.
So you're at the Professor Coffee, tapping away on a piece that isn't due for a whole nother week. They're kind of slow. They're dribbling out work to you right now. There's possibility that they're farming it out to other people or working on utilizing. Oh no, here's the work that you're doing. You're doing copy editing, but what you're doing is taking where someone has used kind of AI speech recognition for some audio stuff to try to do a quick slapdash closed captioning, and you're going in and having to clean it up and trim it up. So the work just comes in dribs and drabs, and a person comes into Professor Coffee that you don't recognize. He looks around And he heads up and he talks to Prof for a little bit, to Kirby. And Kirby says, "Oh, yeah, you want to talk to Jamie over there?" "Yeah, man." So this guy walks over. He's in his early 30s. And he has an odd like smell to him. It's like some kind of weird cologne or some kind of body odor. He's wearing a sleeveless t-shirt. Looks a little bit on the older side, kind of faded, a few rips and tears, and a pair of jeans. And he comes around to your table and he says, "My name is Merrick. Are you Jamie?"
Yeah. He stands up a little, extends his hand. Yeah.
You can help people with problems sometimes, like weird stuff.
Sometimes depends on the weird stuff, but I'll at least listen. And if I don't know of something to do, maybe I can point you at somebody who can.
He grips your hand and shakes it. He's got a really strong grip. The guy doesn't look like super buff or anything, but he's just got that like farmer's grip. A person who's done a lot of work. You can feel the calluses when you grip his hand.
Okay. Jamie sort of winces a little bit because he does not have. He
Sorry.
does not have like
Sorry. He's like 6 foot, not super tall, but he sits down. Merrick Segloska. I just moved in to a place. It's a tenement. It's not so great, but got a job. Yeah. I just moved in like last month.
Okay.
Listen, I need some help. I know there are lots of drugs I can't afford. I'm having some bad dreams, real bad dreams.
Let's see. What kind of dreams?
He kind of looks down. He seems really uncomfortable. Maybe you can help me not dream for a little while. Yeah, you can do that. Yeah.
That can be tricky if we don't know what kind of dreams you're having, because it may be that you might need to address the other thing to make them go away. Like I can't give you anything that will make you not dream, because that would be long term, like really bad for your mental health.
All right. Sounds like you're trying to talk him into revealing a bit more about his dreams.
Yeah, jawing him a little bit, maybe.
John a little bit, but it's a normal conversation. He doesn't want to give this up, so I think you're going to need a little bit of a remarkable success for him to tell you specifics. There's something about it that seems to bother him.
Okay. Let's see. I'm going to put in my normal, which is 1, my jaw, which is 3, and let's see. So that'll be 4. I'll spend a spark on this one. I want to see if I can get this out of him. I'll spend 2 spark.
Cool.
So that'll give me 4 plus 2 is a total of 6.
All right, got pretty good odds here. Tension is not in effect.
Okay, that's good. Oh, that looks really good, actually. I think I did that handily.
Yeah, that's a lot of evens.
Okay.
He doesn't meet your eyes. He actually gets up and goes and gets a coffee and brings it down and takes a few sips before he talks about it anymore. He says, "So, these dreams, it's about me and killing, like ripping things to pieces, running. I could feel the soft grass on my feet. Everything smells so strong and vivid. I could taste blood in my mouth.
how long have you been having these dreams?
Not long after I moved here. Or maybe there's some bad juju for the tenement. I don't know.
See, okay. And he like pulls up his little map of the neighborhood. So which tenement are you in?
Oh, he reach around. He points it out. It goes right there. I thought it would be real nice. The view of the park.
Ah. Okay. His and he'll run just a quick search of stuff he's worked on before, stuff he's heard about. Anything weird from that particular tenement before?
Oh, no. Actually, nothing any more weird than any other tenement.
Okay. So
it's not a place that you know of that's cursed.
Okay. So nothing stands out there. Okay. Like, He looks at him and as well. Okay. All right. Where are you working at now?
Oh, I'm working at the textile. They got a bunch of shops. Just kind of move things around for everybody. Strong back kind of work,
Gotcha. Okay. So you're basically doing stocking work.
Yeah.
For those stores. Okay.
Unload the trucks, load the trucks, move stuff around, whatever they need, clean stuff up.
Okay. Okay. Well, let's let me think about this for a minute. Let's see. Would you mind if I took a look at your coffee cup there for a second?
I mean, it's from here.
I know.
Moves it across.
Okay, and this is the coffee cup he was sipping from, right?
It is.
Okay. And I was like, all right, I'm going to buy you another coffee because I need to use this to figure something out. And oh, no problem. Puppies. He takes the top off the coffee cup, and he looks into the coffee cup, sort of swirls it around a little bit. He reaches into one of his mini pockets, and he pulls out something that looks like a condiment packet for like salt or pepper or sugar or some sweetener. Like it's very generic, and he tears that and sort of pours it into the coffee in a swirl. And he reaches into another pocket, and he takes out this little stir stick. It looks like an incense stick, but it's very short, like stir stick size, but it looks like incense. And he stirs that into the coffee, and then after that's stirred in for a while, he lights the end of the incense stick with his lighter, and then breathes the incense from the coffee in. And he's going to see if he can detect if there is some sort of actual, some sort of enchantment on this guy.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I think you're being super then. Absolutely. And perception, deduction, reason, and thought all fall under head.
Okay.
Unless you feel like maybe you're using tools because of the stuff. It always feels like the tools are more like narrative permission to do your magic.
With this one especially, like he's not using a setup like he's got at his house to do stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So with this one, I think he's really having to improvise because he didn't come here prepared to do something like this.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So he's just pulling stuff out that he generally keeps around. And so I'll say that's super, that's head, that's 6. 2 from his magic control.
And I'm going to say you're going to need remarkable success again here. I'm going to jump over the Lebanese restaurant after this roll.
Okay. So that'll be 6 total, and then 8 with the power dice added. So I don't think I'm going to spend spark on this. I think 8 ought to give me enough.
Yeah.
And I say that, and that's
Let's clear before you roll, because there's
Okay.
so many orange dice out there. I get confused.
Hold on, I'll switch purple this time. We'll do red.
Well, there it's cleared, so you can do orange dice again if you want.
Okay,
No. You hold on a sec.
Gotcha.
Where did it go? He just pulled a thumbtack out of the wall. Okay. I sure hope he didn't swallow it, but it's not in his mouth. Oh, Lord. This is the dumbest dog.
Okay, I've got 1, 2, 3, 3 successes, or 3 pals, excuse me.
Okay.
I have 1-1, but you said tension was not an effect on that.
I did say that.
Okay. So 3 pals, and I think that gets me a remarkable, if I remember right.
Yep, 3's what you needed, exactly. I have no idea where the thumbtack went. I think he ate it. Oh, God. I'm so nervous. Sorry.
I understand.
All right. Well, we'll just keep going. There's nothing I can do at this point. You're so dumb. Okay. Sweet. So you are successful. There is a magic to him. When you look into, swirl it around, there'll be a cool kind of single panel of the coffee itself, and there's a light above, and the light coalesces to the light of what looks like a round yellow, and then it comes closer into focus, and it appears to be a moon, a full moon.
Okay. He looks at that. Looks at Merrick. Merrick, you may have more of a problem than bad dreams. This might be something we need to see a specialist about.
I told you I don't have any medical insurance, man.
No, it's not that kind of specialist. Another specialist in the weird. I can do some stuff, but we might want to talk to somebody who really knows their stuff about this thing. And that might be a good time to fade out to.
I thought I was waiting if there was like a tagline there to cut away. I like that a lot. Flip the page, and we see very busy people like standing in lines lunchtime at Cypress, and come in, and we see that Deirdre, you're like tables backed up. You're working alongside one of the many cousins that work here. Not your cousin, but they are all cousins of each other. And it is super hectic. What is the worst part of working at Cypress during the lunch rush?
I think that one of the things is that there are a lot of people who really like to sit down for lunch at Cypress because it's really comfortable, and they get as much of the pita that they want. Like, essentially it's an ever full basket of pita. Whereas you carry out, you only get like a stack of it like this, right? So there are a lot of people who kind of they're regulars, but they're like itchy regulars who really kind of want this. It's sort of trying to handle that sense of entitlement and impatience that goes along with that. And then there's this, lines of people that she knows all the orders for. She knows what they're going to get. She's like handing them their order before they even get to, to the order thing. And, they're passing her a card, and it's just like, it's a jumble. But mostly it's those people who want to get a seat and are going to stand there in line and wait. And they kind of crowd up the place, and she has to manage them. because they never get any better at it, ever.
I had to fix the thing. All right, it's fixed him. Yeah, so you're basically managing the crowd by anticipating orders and continuing to keep the ever full baskets of pita. I think it would be interesting if, yes, I also am like the pita hog. I love having ever full pita. I think it would be interesting if Elise would be coming in here about now. It's not like you have severance pay, but this is always a good place to enjoy a lot of food for a decent price when you've had a terrible day. But yeah, you spot Elise, and she's grabbed the table in your section.
All right. And I will do that thing where, the waitress does sometimes, where they actually sit down at the table with you to take the order, just because sometimes you got to get off your feet. She's like, Elise, glad to see you for lunch. What can I get you?
Honestly, just whatever's cheapest. I feel like my wallet is going to drain up real soon.
And she sort of stops and goes, well, we have a special on the cabbage rolls today. Sound good to you?
Are they cheap? Then yeah.
Okay. She goes, I got you covered. Just hold on. Mint tea, right?
Yeah. You're the best.
She sort of stops and goes, something wrong?
You know how it is. Penny got under my skin today. I tried to be cute about it, and then I just got like a suspension, I guess. I don't know. That bitch is not gonna pay me for a while.
And I think instead it kind of goes, that woman is evil, Elise. Evil. I'll be back with your tea. Hopefully it will balm your heart.
Thank you.
And that's it. I wrangle some tea. I wrangle a huge pile of cabbage rolls. When the cook goes to put them on the plate, I go, no, more, until there's like a mound of them, and I'll bring them back. So.
Yeah, I think I look at this mountain of food and I just go, oh, wow. Okay, you're seriously my number one favorite people on this team, person on this team.
I've even got a box all lined up for you. Don't worry.
How are you so sweet? How is the person who can turn into like a living lightning manage to be so sweet?
And she goes, it's easy because I have Cyprus. So they're good people.
How are they holding up with all this nonsense with the Future Legion paying like protection money?
And she kind of goes, I'll catch you when the rush is over.
Oh, yeah. I forgot that some of us do have a job.
And I will try to, just get through things, make it super normal. But she's actually kind of rattled me, just because I realized I haven't noticed anything. And it's like that moment that it occurs to me that certainly the owners of the Cypress would try to hide anything like that from the people that worked for them, essentially for their family. They wouldn't want anything bad to happen, for them to know that there were any problems. And it just occurs to me right then that maybe something has happened and I wouldn't know.
Ooh, is there anything other than that realization? Is there anything you wanted to do, or is that just where we get a beat where we have a thought bubble of you realizing that this could have slipped right underneath my nose?
Oh, I think that as soon as I get a chance, like where I can sub out for a minute, where you get the like occasional breaks where I go, okay, I'm taking 5 guys because, I got it cleaned up.
Absolutely.
And I will slide into the business office where the receipts get worked and everything. And I'll open up the ledger and see if I can see anything that's changed.
Ooh, interesting. That seems a little dangerous. You could get into a bit of trouble. I don't think you get fired, but I do think it's stressful for you to sneak around like this. Don't you think?
Yeah, I think it is because I wouldn't want to be the one to have to explain to anyone why I'm doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Because if their kids or their grandkids or their nieces or their nephews found out, they would want to go and have a fight.
Cool. So we're gonna say tension is in effect. You're rolling with mundane, right? You just
Yeah.
gonna read through the ledger. This isn't a superhero-y type deal. Feels like maybe you're trying to figure things out. Feels like the head might be.
Okay.
Is that
Yeah.
work for you? Okay.
Yeah. So that's what 4 to start.
Yeah, we'll say figuring this out. It's not like they write it in code. So I'm going to say, while tension is in effect, it's a typical difficulty. So difficulty 2, you need 2 evens. And just cleared dice for you.
Okay. Can I use Spark on this?
Absolutely.
Okay, because this is super important to me. So I'll toss another 2 in there and cross my fingers that I figure this out. Okay, so clear. Okay. I'm rolling 6, if I understand this correctly.
Yep. And you need 2 evens.
I have 1 even.
Oh, goodness. And not only do you have 1 even, you have 2 ones. And because tension is in effect, those both drain your spark, and they're only up to the difficulty of your action, which was a 2. So you just drained out all of your spark.
Okay. What does that do?
What that
Break
does?
into tears?
No, it's however you want to emotionally
Okay.
process it is fine. But what that means is when you have 0 spark, something has happened, and I've got a couple reactions here, but just to explain the mechanics of it. You really don't have the spirit to go out heroing. Like the magic doesn't fire until you're able to regain a little bit of that. You can do that through a refresh for vigilantism or for doing charity work, or if someone comes from your team to cheer you up or bond with you for a refresh, but it effectively means you're out of the game. And here's what I think happens is you see very clearly in the ledger that they're not marking who, but it's pretty obvious they are paying a significant amount of protection money to some other entity, and they are not affecting your pay, but it's pretty obvious that they are going to go out of money. Like the Cypress is there. He's been the kind of the mother, father of the family have been hiding this from everyone, just hoping something will come along. But paying this extortion money is draining them dry at this point. They're pulling out of their savings accounts, the college funds and everything, to try to pay this and keep things going, hoping that it will just turn around. And that is just, this whole family is headed towards the precipice of ruin. But they haven't affected your pay, not 1 penny. Not that you get paid a whole lot as your base pay, but you can see where they always corner off to pay you because you're not family.
Yeah, and I think that is that she's there, and like essentially you see the you know how they have the big books for all of that, like where the checks are torn out, but there's the annotations on that.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like all the blank checks that are like waiting to be written. What you see is just like teardrops splotching down on it, and she's like, and she closes that and puts it back in, and wipes her eyes. And when she's walking through the kitchen, she goes, "Whew, oh man, those onions." And she'll go back out to the dining room and get pita for everyone with her eyes watering clearly. She's like, oh man. And she'll really good at acting through this stuff. And then as soon as she gets done, she sits down at the table with Elise and she goes, "We've got to do something."
Whoa, you're not looking too hot. What happened?
I didn't know it. But they're being extorted.
What, by the future losers?
Who else? This whole thing, it's going to ruin them. This is a going concern. The amount that they're asking for is outrageous.
Well, that doesn't sound like them. I mean, they ask for a lot, but I don't think they would try to break the business. They would have no money to collect from if they did.
And she goes, "So I can only assume they want to break the business."
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's very possible. But you can't get down because we're not regular people. That's why we have these powers. We can make a difference.
And yeah, I think she sort of sits there and she goes, "Yeah, how can we stop them? This is just a punching.
I'm very partial to some physical violence, but we took a great first step. I mean, we got the video of them. I bet if we just like dig some dirt up, we can smear them even further. They've done some terrible things in this neighborhood. They can't keep going and doing it. We can leverage this moment. We can drive them out of here.
We have to catch them red-handed doing this extortion. I mean, we can do that, right?"
We can do anything if we're together. That's so cheesy. I'm laughing myself.
Oh, it's nice though. I like it. All right, so
You are having a really off day, aren't you?
so I think that's our like rising moment at the end there. We will bring this issue to a close. I'm going to go ahead and grant the two of you 4 spark. That was a rousing, like definite team bravado moment. I quite enjoyed it. So let's work through our XP, and then if you guys, now that we have a full session under our belts, I'd love to do a little bit of feedback in the moments that we have left. But let's work through the experience point questions, which is like way here in the back of my stuff. All right. Crap. Sorry. All right. Did you clash with someone who threatened your neighborhood?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. Did you struggle with your normal day-to-day obligations?
Oh, yeah.
Did you avoid open warfare that endangered regular civilians? I'm going to say that wasn't necessarily valid. We didn't have any like big Titanic fights on the streets. If you guys are okay. Oh.
Well, yeah, we prevented. I mean, we didn't get into one. We all changed into civic and got.
All right, there we go. Because you definitely could have gone head up against the future legion. All right, I'll give it to you. Did you support another teammate when they needed you?
Oh yeah.
Did you defeat a villain or have a conflict with your rival? On that one, I'm going to say I don't think so. Right? Because I think if you got the one by avoiding the conflict, that meant you didn't have a conflict with your rival, right? Mm-hmm. That kind of means there had to be 2 different situations that took place. So that's 4 XP for everybody. If you haven't spent XP, you're up to 9. And if you have, then just add 4 to it. Cool. So with the remaining time we have, does anybody need to go like right at the 3-hour mark? If so, I'll kind of squeeze you in to go first for feedback. Okay, cool. Good. So the feedback method that I like to use, there are lots of them out there. There's some really good ones. The one that is my preference is Roses and Thorns, even though thorns have that weird connotation. This is a game that I feel pretty good about, but I need critical feedback, and that's why I asked for the Thorns. So let's start with Thorns, which are any points of confusion, missed opportunities, rules clarifications, or aspects of the game or mechanics or story that just maybe didn't live up to expectations or disappointed you. Who'd like to go first? And for Chris and Tim, just a reminder, if you haven't heard this before, I am the son of a Marine Corps sergeant who became a high school principal. I can handle critical feedback. I will not be defensive, and I will not cry on camera. So, Sherry, you're unmuted. Did you want to kick it off?
Sure, I will do that. Let's see here. It's kind of hard because for the most part, the system does what I want it to do. I would say that the only thing that I had a little bit of weirdness with was the switch between the mundane and the power, and like going, oh, but you still use the tension and the spark. Like getting used to those and what they mean is like just a sort of thing of, but again, you do it twice and you know exactly what's going on. So it's again, just that introduction to the main mechanics is, a thing just to make sure that there's a nice little cheat card or something that players can have.
That's a great suggestion.
First couple sessions. Yeah, but I mean, it fits around what I want. So this is all I have is for a few of the terms, a cheat sheet would be great for the first session.
Okay. Thank you,
Okay.
Sherry. That is helpful for me to know. Thank you very much. Who would like to go next with Thorns?
I'll go. It's actually a weird thorn because it's something that's in the system, but I don't think we use today. Do we do the extra die for fulfilling the role on this thing? I just realized it.
I never once asked people about their role. That's one of those things that I stuck in the latest iteration, so it doesn't feel firmly in my brain. And I've been thinking a lot about that role piece because I feel like that's been the stickiest point. Like even when I look at the role that you guys have, I don't feel like it makes sense. Like I don't feel like you guys feel comfortable in the role that you created for your character. Face question mark. Like what does that mean? And so I think I need to really bulk that up a little bit. And I definitely need to be asking you, like, are you fulfilling your role on your team? Because that's an easy extra die. And I want people doing that. Like I want people to have that niche on a team. So thank you. Roll.
Yeah.
I actually feel like that's one of the weakest parts of the text right now.
Yeah, and it's something we talked about, and I wanted to lean into that today, but I completely forgot it. I just remembered it just at the session.
I'm glad you did. That's a really good note. Anything else, Luis?
No. I'll save my roses for the roses part.
Okay, cool. Tim or Chris, who'd like to go next?
I'll go ahead. I'll kind of echo that. Like you saw the little question mark on, like, because I wasn't sure exactly how the roles were going to break down. Because I know some of that stuff is from the 1%er, like the biker basic thing. So the reason I put a face question mark is because this character is a talker. He's a bullshit artist, as any good magician is. So that's why I put the question mark. Like if people will let him talk, like he will talk.
And you were doing that. Like, so there are several times that we should have been bringing the role into the role. Because I bit with an E and then I bit with two L's. Because it's
got it. We've got that.
The funds.
But I mean, other than that, like the dice are pretty self-explanatory. I like I like being able to roll a lot of dice again. I got so used to PBTA, just roll 2 dice and never roll anything.
I know, it's all you ever get. So, all right, hold on. You're rolling into roses. Any other thorns that you have?
I'd like to roll lots of other different dice too. No, that's it.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much, Chris. Tim, what thorns did you have, sir?
Well, it's kind of hard to think on this, but I know this is kind of more of a slice of life session than it was, action. So I mean, there were kind of times, and I mean, granted, the other people were doing great, and I kind of sitting there thinking, I'm not really contributing, but
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of downtime. Yeah. I think there was too much downtime. I didn't do a good job of cross-cutting scenes at all. I kind of started to feel that about halfway through.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on in the background too, just kind of, this isn't exactly a thorn anyway. I'm just saying it's kind of contributing to the whole, we got the whole people trying to buy stuff up, extorting, the missing dogs, and we lost someone. But
no.
But yeah, I mean, just other than that, and one just more or less on me. Just I'm still kind of trying to fill this one out here, kind of, because I almost feel like I'm kind of done maybe one or two trick pony with this character. But
okay, is
maybe
there anything we can do to help flesh out aspects of him?
Well, it's not. I think it's just more on me. That's just I'm just kind of being boring. But
I don't. Well, I don't think your character's boring, but if there's anything I can do to help you flesh things out, or if you have questions or anything you wanted to talk through, feel free to hit me up.
All right.
Cool. And Tim, I do this in snake order, so the person who goes last with thorns gets to go first with roses.
Oh, roses. So I definitely love Chris's just magical. I mean, just the way he describes this stuff. I mean, it's almost like right out of Dresden Files, but with his own little twist, because it's just he throws out just some more just mundane, weird stuff, but I mean, it brings a lot of flavor to it, and I mean, it just some of it's comical, but some of it's just really just creative.
Yeah, I completely second that. That is a very good point, and I do like that a lot. Thank you, Tim. Chris, what roses did you have?
Let's see. I really enjoy everybody's characters. I had a good time like listening to everybody's interactions, and I appreciate what everybody said about the magic stuff. I have read enough urban fantasy to where I should be able to like trot this stuff out on command, and it seems like I've developed that skill well enough now. But I really enjoy the opportunity to get to do that. I like all the weird stuff that's going on. Like everything going on in the background just makes it seem like the place is alive. And I think it gives that really deep feeling to it. Like this city just doesn't exist around us. Like just in a little tiny pocket. It gives the like, oh, there's other people doing other stuff that we're not connected to necessarily. And we'll occasionally encounter that as we're wandering through it. So there's other stories happening. And I think that gave a really good impression of all the other stuff that could be going on that while we're focusing on the stuff that we are focused on. I think another thing I'll point out is I know that Lynx and Static have had sort of like there's little team building scenes. I think it might be interesting to try something I'd like to see next time is to maybe give the other guys a chance to do a little bit of team building. Like maybe like I could see if I was going to investigate like a freaking werewolf, I would want somebody with a metal suit playing backup for me. So I'd like to see some sort of team scenes on the side of Riot Act and Wildcard.
I think we should lead off with that. That's a great idea.
I also thought it kind of would, sorry to barge in, but I just thought it'd be kind of interesting to have kind of a dynamic of where he does his little magic knickknacks for stuff to sometimes, like come up with an idea like, oh yeah, he's trying to make a self-cleaning refrigerator or something like that and trying to do it with like an appliance in my shop or trying to figure out some kind of idea for a magical invention, like brainstorming the idea.
And I can see them trying to sort something like that out. And honestly, that's probably part of what happens to a lot of his appliances that you have to fix is he's tried to make them work easier for him. And then he has to call you to come in and say, hey, my refrigerator seems to be giving off this weird smell. And part of it's on fire. Could you come out? that's I can see him giving you a lot of that sort of call when he's trying to do that stuff.
Oh, it kills me. That is great. So Luis is back. Yay! I just looked up and I saw you were back. Welcome back. We are doing roses, my friend. Do you have any roses to hand out?
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, the weirdest thing happened. Like I had the invite for the Hangouts on my app, but I came through the Slack, and then I hit ignore on my cell phone just so the notification would go away. And Hangouts saw that as you don't want to be part of this conversation ever again, and just scrubbed it out of my chats.
Weird.
Yeah, I had to open Slack and click the link. But anyways, roses. I really like how you played all the NPCs. I think you gave them a lot of character and like nudged us to bring out our hooks that we put into our backstories, into how we interact with them. I like the comic book framing. Like we see a panel here, we see a panel there. I really like the blurb way to introduce the characters. I thought it was super, like, it's informative, but it's also like dynamic. It's not like we get immediately immersed in the fiction. It's not about players talking about their characters. It made me want to think more about my blurb and work on it and picture how it would look like on a comic book.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think the system is working really well, and I plan to steal a bunch of stuff from it to try to do something with Magical Girls.
Do it. Oh, that'd be so cool. Magical Girls game would be fun. Just make it also Steven Universe, which is kind of Magical Girls, but different too. So, yeah. I just recently finished watching the most recent season of Steven Universe, and it just blew my mind.
So good.
Sherry,
Never watched it.
any roses to hand out?
So yeah, I sure do. I think it was on Sunday morning. Someone asked me how this game was, and I said, well, it's like the system's really good because it has enough flavor for you to know like just exactly what you need to be doing, but then it also just gets out of the way of what you want to do. It's like a really good vinaigrette. It's it's just as much there as you need it. And I've really been enjoying it for that. But it still has, like when you talk through how you're going to do your role, you're thinking about, okay, what is my response? How am I doing this? You've got all the pieces that you need to have that discussion to build that picture of what you're doing and reacting. So it's very character driven in that. And I do like that the spark, the thing that team play, essentially that team building and those conversations and that intimacy with another one, two, or the whole team is a big part of where you get your power from. That's kind of gorgeous. So
Sweet. I'm very happy to hear that. That is, I feel like Spark, which is directly stolen from One Percenter, is one of the magic sauce pieces of that really fun game. So I'm glad that it works here too. That makes me feel good. All right. Well, thank you all so much. There will definitely be action. This was my moving all of my pieces onto the chessboard, and you guys could go knock any of them over if you wanted, but if not, they're all going to explode in next issue, which they certainly will be. That is a crazy list of TV. Cool. So thank you all so much for playing our second session, and I'll see you guys in a week. And we'll definitely be hitting some combat and all that fun stuff. Have a good night, everybody.
hey.
Good night.